on sickle cell anemia. And to be specific, we will be looking at the treatment options as well as ways in which you can manage your pain when we talk matters sickle cell anemia. And our main focus today will be on little children. And before I hand you over to my colleagues, my guest today will be none other than Peter Ahago. Peter is the Program Officer, Children's Sickle Cell Foundation, and he will be here so that we can just get to understand ways in which we can be able to manage pain, you know, strategies of pain management when it comes to sickle cell anemia. Mike, good morning.
Good morning, Vivian. And you know, it's the second day of working, and most people are resuming work yesterday. And if you looked at social media yesterday, there was a lot of memes, people saying how their first day was. Then again, I think by now people have been accustomed to the fact that this is the first week of going back to work. And so for those, especially for those of us who wake up very early in the morning.
We're settling in.
Yeah, we're
still settling in. Yeah, but I mean, we're here.
Yeah, we're here. And let me tell you, waking up very early is sometimes becomes an extreme sport. But then again, we have to be here to ensure that you are well informed with what is happening. Welcome to Good Morning Kenya. My name is Mike Migwe. A lot is happening within the political landscape, but today I want us to focus on the ODM party. A lot is happening within that party, given the wrangles that are very evident. And yesterday, even the likes of Otiendo Omolo have called on the party leader, interim party leader, that is Oburu Oginga, to quell the ongoing wrangles. So today we want to focus on ODM's identity and direction, given what is happening. What does this mean for the party now that we are entering we are heading into 2027, and also the status of its position within the broad-based government? What does it mean, given that a lot is going on? Because there have been calls for the Secretary General of ODM, Edwin Sifuna, to step aside, and yeah, we are keeping a good eye on what is happening within ODM and let you know what is happening right there. So today, as we focus on ODM, I will be joined by three gentlemen. Now, one is Gibson Gisore, who is an advocate of the High Court of Kenya; Thomas Omar, who is a governance and political expert; and also Mark Ndingo, who is a politician and a governance expert. We shall be talking about ODM's status right about now. Before I hand you over to Marie, let me interest you with a quote as food for thought. The most important thing is transforming our minds for a new way of thinking, new outlook. We should strive to develop a new inner world. The most important thing is transforming our minds for a new way of thinking, a new outlook, and we should strive to develop a new inner world. And that is a quote by Dalai Lama. Good morning, Marie.
Good morning, Mike. Good morning, Vivian. And of course, to all our viewers joining us from across the country. You know, as you were talking, I was just thinking, Mike saying like we are back to work and all that. And I was just thinking to myself, like, probably this needs to be the year of accountability.
Yes. Why do you say so?
Yeah.
Why do you say so?
I say so because a lot is happening. And we keep hearing the same kind of narratives, in the sense of the South Sea building collapsing.
Yes.
You know, it's not new, yeah?
Yeah.
We've known buildings collapsing for I don't know how many years. But we've never really seen anything happening. You know, we are going to investigate. We'll hold the people accountable. I don't know if you remember anybody jailed because they did not follow the due procedure. I personally can't.
Not one that I'm thinking of right now, yeah.
Yes.
The script has always been the same.
It's just been the same. And then we have road accidents every festive season for as long as I can remember. Yesterday, or I think yesterday was Monday. I think early morning of Monday, 9 people, just like their lives were just snapped out like that.
Yeah.
You know, Naivasha along Karai.
Yes.
Again, investigations will be done. That has been the song for as long as we can remember. So I feel like this needs to be the year of accountability.
I agree with you on that,
Yeah.
because I mean, even speaking about road carnage, just this year, it is so unfortunate that we are on the 6th day, you know, of this year, and we've already lost more than 20 people on our roads.
Imagine.
So I agree with you, Marie, like accountability should be the in thing now, you know, and even aside from, you know, people being brought to book when they commit some of these crimes, because it's a crime, man. If you're driving recklessly, you're actually endangering other people's life, and yeah, it is a crime.
You know, it's just short of saying, Vivian, you're, I mean, literally a murderer.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
you might not
yeah.
take that panga or whatever it is to go kill, but you're putting an unroadworthy vehicle, number one, on the road.
On the road, yeah.
You're as a driver, probably I can't really like give excuses. I know you're looking for something to put food on the table, but you're working overtime. You're not trusting. Like what happened to that accident on Monday early morning?
Yeah.
You know, the passengers were saying that he was literally struggling.
Yeah,
you know,
because he had not rested,
Yeah.
you know, he had already taken another trip. I mean, how
Exactly.
about we just be accountable for our own actions as well, and be accountable also for one another.
And also, on that same note, even when it comes to enforcing these rules, we need to be serious when enforcing traffic rules, because at the end of the day, yes, we have pedestrians, we have drivers, we have everybody, but also the institutions that are charged with the responsibility of enforcing these rules should do more to ensure that the whole idea of losing lives year in, year out on the roads at least is mitigated.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, I feel it's a year of accountability at a personal level and also as a country.
Yes.
The president said we need to be in the first world, Singapore. If you ask me, that will start at a personal level.
Exactly.
Right with what we have, the chaos we have on our roads, the environment and everything, it starts right at the door.
And it's not about infrastructures, buildings, and everything.
It's a mental...
It touches, or it touches on culture. How we think, how we do things has to change, even as we head, as the president is saying, into the first world level of development. We need to change even the way we think, our culture, the way we do things. That has to change.
Everything all round.
Yes.
Yeah.
Personal discipline.
Yes.
It all bows to that, you know. This is a subject that we can talk about for as long as, you know, we can mention so many things.
Yeah.
But yes, let's hope that things will change. The people in charge, you've been put in those offices for a reason. You know, you don't just earn salaries. You're there to ensure that you implement, no matter how painful it might look, but you have to be seen to be doing your job, not just rhetoric.
Yes.
So that is my take this morning. Thank you so much for indulging me. So we get to the news where Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development Cabinet Secretary, that is Alice Wahome, has warned of tough legal actions against anyone who will be found culpable in the collapse of the South Sea multi-story building that has so far claimed one life. Wahome, who visited the site for the first time on Monday, said the architects and engineers risk losing their licenses if investigations establish criminal responsibility. The recovery exercise in search of a second person at the site is expected to conclude today.
Excavation and rescue operations entered day 4 on Monday at the site of the collapsed 16-story building in South Sea, Nairobi, in search of a second person believed to have been trapped in the rubble. Cabinet Secretary in charge of Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development, Alice Wahome, warns of legal action against the developer, architect, engineers, county and national government officials should criminal culpability be established.
What will you do if a contractor or a developer is not complying? Of course, he should be prosecuted. I will deregister if I'm told that the contractor was the problem. I will deregister the contractor.
Wahome revealed that the multi-agency teams with relevant expertise are carrying out investigations to establish the root cause of the tragic occurrence on Friday last week.
I will suspend the license of the architect if I find through the report that he went 3 other floors or 1 extra floor without approval by NCA. I'm going to deregister them.
While disclosing the names behind the construction, she however said the developer, named as Abian Consulting Limited, has not been invited to record a statement.
I don't want to preempt because I have technical teams that will tell me whether the developer should actually do a statement. You know, we don't want to preempt. You want a thorough job.
However, as of 2024, the CSA 4 inspections done by the National Construction Authority had given the green light to the project. That was registered on 8th November 2023, having met all statutory requirements. At the time of the incident, the project was however non-compliant, as 4 more floor levels had been added to the approved designs. The excavation and search operations are expected to end on Tuesday. This as the National Construction Authority issued stoppage orders for 2 construction works in Seme, Kisumu County for lack of requisite documentation.
So some of the developers do not even know that they need to hire a professional to do their work, because assuming they had hired at least 1 professional, he or she would tell them that they need the other professionals along, and they would also inform them about the processes they have to go through in order to be able to be allowed to construct.
Of course, my colleague, that is Giverson Maina, should be on that beat today and bringing us up to speed with what the conclusions will be in as far as the search of that one body that has not yet been found. Let's move on, where a section of ODM bigwigs wants interim party leader Senator Oburu Oginga, that is, to convene the party's organs and quell the rising political intolerance in the party. Led by 2 national vice chairpersons, Otendi Amolo and John Ariko, the leaders warned that failure to urgently deal with the internal wrangles may erode the public confidence in the party and reduce its popularity going into the 2027 general elections.
For the last few weeks, ODM's key national officials have been at loggerheads over who has the best interest of the party at heart, often engaging in public verbal slurs, a situation that has drawn the attention of 2 national vice chairpersons, John Ariko and Otiende Amolo, as well as the National Assembly Minority Whip Millie Odhiambo, who now want the interim party leader Senator Oburu Oginga to move with speed and quell the rising temperatures.
We are further concerned by the spectacle of self-cannibalization that has been exhibited of late in our party. It is testament to how much we miss the wisdom and iconic leadership of our departed leader, Right Honorable Raila Odinga, that divisive rhetoric has taken over our politics without restraint. We call upon the party's elected leadership and the wider membership to uphold the tenets of unity and camaraderie espoused by the late Raila Odinga.
We have convened ourselves as concerned members of Parliament from ODM. And if you can judge us from where we are coming from whatever is coming out, you'll agree with us that we have not taken any side.
The ODM bigwigs concerned with the effect of the ongoing mudslinging, one that failure to address the issues with urgency will allow small parties to occupy political spaces previously occupied by ODM. They are confident, however, the internal wrangles can be solved internally without involving the National Delegates Conference.
Our challenges are self-inflicted. We must come as a party and look inwardly and solve our issues internally and stop blaming other people. We are the ones inflicting harm upon ourselves. We are creating a lot of confusion with our membership.
ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna and the leader of Minority Party in the National Assembly, Junet Mohamed, have been engaged in counter-accusations over the party's management of resources for the last general elections, a subject the Otiende-led caucus refused to comment on.
What's going on is the democracy in the D in ODM. ODM stands for the Orange Democratic Movement Party of Kenya. But two, that there are mechanisms that are in place, and as much as we are having this press statement, we are also in conversation with our party leader along the same lines. There's no disconnect.
The MPs have also noted the allegation of an altercation between Kileleshwa MCA Robert Alai and Embakasi East MP Babu Owino and urged the police to investigate the matter with urgency.
To other news, where 9 people, including 2 children, were killed in a grisly road accident along the Nairobi-Naivasha highway. A Nissan Matatu collided head-on with a Green Line bus that was headed to Nairobi from the western region.
Twisted metal, shattered glass. The mangled wreckage tells the story of a violent head-on collision after a Nissan Matatu rammed into this bus belonging to the Green Light Bus Company that was traveling to Nairobi from Western Kenya. All 9 lives aboard the Nissan Matatu were cut short on the spot, among them 2 children. Passengers in the bus said the driver was speeding and overtaking a fleet of vehicles when it rammed into the oncoming Nissan.
So wakati tumefika kwa hii mafuta tumepata kuna premium imetokea hapo, ikaingia tu kwa barabara na ikaslow, na sisi gari ilikuwa ina high speed, so there's no way angeshika emergency. So wakati amejaribu kuihepa ndio tukapatana na Nissan head-on collision.
Alikuwa anakuja akikimbisha gari na speed, ngati tunajaribu kumwambia punguza speed, tuko na watoto na tuko na watu wengi, hataki kusikia.
Survivors said the tragedy could have been avoided as the driver appeared exhausted, having driven long distances without rest.
So wakati amefika Nakuru, hizi mataa za gari zingine zikaanza kumlemea, so anafika mahali ana slow. So nikafika mahali nikaita conductor nikamwambia, you need to talk with your driver kwa sababu it is like ako dizzy.
They are accusing transport operators of prioritizing profit over passenger safety.
Kwa kampuni ya Green Line, kama gari lazima ikuwe na return, at least wakuwe 2 drivers.
Police have since described the Karai area along the Nairobi-Naivasha road as a non-black spot, urging motorists to be vigilant.
I am advising motorists to plan their travel on time so that they are not moving on an hurry. So for them to be safe from where they are starting and where they are ending to.
The 1 a.m. incident that occurred near Kayole Estate, 10 kilometers from Naivasha town, also left several other people injured, most of whom were treated at the Naivasha Sub-County Hospital and later discharged.
Nimeumia kifua kidogo, nimeumia magoti, but glasi zimenikata kidogo kidogo.
As families mourn their loved ones, fresh questions are being raised about driver fatigue, enforcement of safety rules, and accountability on Kenyan roads.
To a major medical breakthrough where scientists from the Kenya Medical Research Institute, KEMRI, have unveiled a major public health and climate adaptation breakthrough demonstrating that simple low-cost housing modifications can significantly cool homes and keep out malaria-carrying mosquitoes, offering a scalable solution for millions of households across malaria-endemic Africa. According to the findings, electricity-free housing improvements reduced indoor heat by 3.3 degrees Celsius and cut malaria mosquito population by as much as 77% in rural Western Kenya.
For decades, malaria control has relied heavily on bed nets and indoor spraying, promoted in Kenya under the slogan "Sisi ndani, mbu nje." While effective during sleeping, these tools do not prevent mosquitoes from entering houses or address growing heat stress driven by climate change. In sub-Saharan Africa, 95% of deaths globally are attributed to malaria. To curb the rising cases and deaths, researchers from Cambridge conducted a pilot randomized controlled study involving 40 households in Siaya County, testing 4 housing approaches: reflective cool roofs, which reduce daytime indoor heat by 3.3 degrees Celsius and nighttime temperatures by 2.4 degrees Celsius, locally made mat ceilings, which provided moderate cooling, cross-ventilation improvements, which showed limited impact, and unmodified control houses. All intervention homes were fully screened at doors, windows, and eaves to block mosquito entry. House screening reduced female Anopheles funestus mosquitoes, the primary malaria vectors, by 77%, alongside a 58% reduction in Culex mosquitoes. Cambridge has called for urgent multi-sectoral action to translate the findings into widespread impact, urging national and county governments to integrate cool roof and screen standards into building codes, malaria strategic plans, and climate adaptation policies beginning in high-burden regions.
To other news, where a 44-year-old man who was abducted by armed men in Mombasa has been reunited with his family after 9 days in captivity. Harrison Nyamu, who was abducted on Christmas Eve in his Changamwe home, spent Christmas and New Year in captivity, recounting torture and medical neglect before being released on January 2nd in the Vipingo area, that is in Kilifi County. Human rights defenders have since condemned the act, even as they call for investigations to bring those culpable to book.
A visibly distraught Harrison Nyamu is lucky to be home after spending the festive season in confinement. The dialysis patient recounts being picked up from his home on the eve of Christmas by armed men before being ferried to an unknown location where he went through hardship and torture.
Watu walikuja wamevaa ninja, wakaniambia kichwa chini na familia yangu wote, tukarazwa, tuliporazwa, mimi niliweza kuwekwa pingu na kuteremshwa mpaka chini kwa kali na kushikwa na kufungwa macho penye nilipelekwa siku njua na nimepitia masaibu ya kutosha, na singetaka mwingine apitie masaibu kama hayo. Siwezi omba mwingine apitie masaibu kama hayo nilipitia, kwa sababu nilipitia masaibu.
His wife, Leon Jerry, who tried to follow the young men and got her own share of beatings, now thankful that the family's breadwinner is back home after they spent the festive season worried about his whereabouts and whether he would make it back home in one piece.
Nilishikwa na watu walikuwa wamejihami na mabunduki, nikaenda nikapiga ripoti na nikawa niko na watu wananisaidia kufuatilia hiyo maneno, na ikiwa tarehe 2 Januari, nashukuru Mungu mzee wangu amerudi akiwa mzima, hata kama amesema amepitia masaibu. Nashukuru Mungu kumuona amerudi akiwa mzima. Hiyo ndio ilikuwa inataka matumaini yangu, arudi nimuone akiwa mzima na watoto pia.
Human rights activists condemned the incident, alleging the presence of illegal abduction squads, while calling on the relevant authorities to hasten investigations and bring the culprits to book.
Tafadhalini, fuateni sheria ili shida kama hizi zisiweze kutokea. Na tunataka wale wote waliohusika waweze kujulikana, ili mambo kama haya ya kuweza kuumiza mtu ambaye ni mgonjwa tayari anahitaji matibabu yasiweze kutendeka.
Haki za kibinadamu za msingi za watu ambao wameshikwa zinafaa zizingatiwe. Endapo mtu yeyote amefanya makosa, serikali ina haki ya kumshika na kufuata kanuni za nchi na kumhoji.
Let's now go to the U.S., where the abducted Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Lady Celia Flores, are due to make their first appearance in court in New York City, United States, anytime from now, facing charges of narco-terrorism, cocaine importation, and machine gun possession. This as the Vice President, Delcy Rodriguez, takes the oath of office as the acting president and calling for a dialogue with the United States. President Donald Trump has maintained that the U.S. is in control of Venezuela.
Tension is still high in Venezuela almost 3 days after President Nicolas Maduro was abducted in a fierce military operation on Saturday. with Maduro and his wife Lady Celia Flores appearing in court for the first time to face charges of narco-terrorism, cocaine importation and machine gun possession, the U.S. President Donald Trump says his administration will work with the remaining members of Maduro regime to clamp down on drug traffickers and overhaul the country's oil sector. Speaking aboard Air Force One, the United States President threatened another action in the country if the regime does not toe the line. The operation attracted condemnation from across the world, with the U.S. being accused of seeking to control Venezuela's vast oil reserves. Vice President Delcy Rodriguez, who has been sworn in as the acting president of Venezuela, is however calling for a dialogue with the United States, saying there is need for a balanced and respectful relations with Washington during power transition. Meanwhile, the United Nations Security Council has held an emergency meeting to discuss the situation.
Of course, they already appeared in court and pleaded not guilty to those charges, but definitely this is going to be an interesting story that we'll definitely be following for you. It's a global story, and so we'll be keeping, tabs on it. But let's look at business news, where Kenya has formally exited the Commercial Sugar Safeguard regime after 24 years. The safeguard, which lapsed on the 30th of November, was a temporary reform-driven measure designed to stabilize and restructure the sugar subsector, objectives that the government says have now been fully achieved.
The move by Kenya to exit the Commercial Safeguard regime marks a major policy shift for the country's sugar industry, which for over 2 decades operated under special trade protections within the Commercial Free Trade Area. Kenya initially saw the safeguard in 2001 at the launch of the Commercial Free Trade Area, at a time when the local sugar subsector was characterized by low productivity, high production costs, and heavy reliance on government support. Over the years, the safeguard allowed Kenya to restrict sugar imports through tariff rate quotas while implementing reforms aimed at restoring viability. The commercial safeguards were extended 8 times, each extension subject to performance reviews and progress reports. Kenya Sugar Board Chief Executive Officer Jude Chesire says the expiry of the commercial safeguard signals that the sugar subsector has reached a level of stability and preparedness to compete in a liberalized regional market. Sugar production has risen by more than 70% from 2022 levels, supported by favorable rainfall, improved access to certified seed cane, targeted fertilizer subsidy programs, and improved milling efficiencies. The Kenya Sugar Board says Kenya will continue to supplement local sugar production deficit with controlled imports from both commercial and approved non-commercial sources as milling rehabilitations continue. The government says that this framework will provide investors with the certainty needed to commit capital and ensure continued regulatory oversight and farmer protection.
We look at sports now, where Manchester United have officially announced the sacking of head coach Ruben Amorim. Now, the club confirmed that Amorim has departed his role with immediate effect, ending a tenure that began in November 2024, despite leading United to the UEFA Europe League final in Bilbao. This past May, the club says its leadership has reluctantly decided that a change is needed, with the team currently sitting 6th in the Premier League. United believe the decision gives them the best opportunity to achieve the highest possible league finish this season. In a statement, the club thanked Ruben Amorim for his contribution and wished him well for the future. Former United midfielder Darren Fletcher will take charge of the team on an interim basis, starting with Wednesday's Premier League match against Burnley. We've come to the end of the bulletin this morning. Thank you as always for your time and your company. My name is Maria. Of course, Good Morning Kenya still continues. Stay with us if you can.
Na ni nini mnapima hapa?
Gazebo itakuwa pale, si ndio?
Sogea hapa.
Tangu asubuhi mfanya kazi gani? Tuko comedy, si ndio?
Mbona unanifuata? Nani alikwambia niko na haraka ya kutoka kwa hii dunia?
Nimejaribu kukusaidia lakini bado unajifanya kichwa ngumu. You will regret it. Hautanipenda?
And the next time unajaribu kuniletea hiyo upuzi ama utry kuniharas nitakusema kwa chini.
Yeah, I don't care.
Manzi maskini ni ukao utumwa. Walai bro, ningekaa another minute bila ukula. Ninge collapse walai. Hiyo ofa ya baba jina ni tempting sana.
Mtu anaweza jipata tu amekubali.
Mimi ni kama babako.
Si wote tunajua unipendi.
Kumbuka ni 50k, eh?
Let me remind you that she is in love with you. And it seems that you get a real kick out of playing along. Let me tell you that you're not only disrespecting me, but your daughter Nora as well. Who is she? Well, she's no other than the mother of your sister's best friend. Don't you find it strange?
I find it so disgusting.
Look, I have no idea what your mother told you, but that would be the last time you'll talk to me that way.
I don't want to hear any of your explanations.
In case you forgot, you're not his favorite daughter.
I know there was a time that Ligia was involved with a married man. And what's the name of that man? Amador. Amador Zúñiga.
It's art, it's culture, it's fun, it's attitude.
As you can see with me, I have this handkerchief. And is it really a handkerchief or is it?
My name is Kevin Kasioki. Please join me each and every Friday at 8 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
At 7 minutes past 7, welcome back to Good Morning Kenya. Today being a Tuesday, it's people and politics. We are going to focus on what is happening within the political landscape and everything in between. Before we delve into the topic of the day, allow me to take you through the front pages of our local dailies, and I'm going to start with the Daily Nation. Daily Nation is reporting a story here regarding the tea sector. Tea Baron's $3 billion deal costs Kenyan farmers Iran market. In 2023, Cup of Joe, a Kenyan tea exporter, sealed a deal with Debsh, an Iranian firm, for a consignment worth $20 million. That is, in Kenyan shillings, that is 2.6 billion. Mr. Kamau Kiminda, the local company's director, was no stranger to the tea business, but this was no ordinary transaction. That story is told on page 4 of the Daily Nation. Alarm over bloody start of the year with horror road crashes, highways of death. At least 27 people have been killed in road accidents in the first 4 days of the new year, raising concerns. The carnage that occasioned more deaths last year compared to 2024 still persists. The latest tragedy claimed 10 lives at Karai on the Nakuru-Nairobi highway, where the former minister Cyrus Jirongo died in December. That story is told on page 2 of the Daily Nation. Ruto faces Mount Kenya test as a UDA holds grassroots elections. The polls are expected to be a major popularity test for the president in a region where his former deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, is marketing a new party that is DCP. That story is told in detail on page 8 of the Daily Nation. The Star is reporting that how bodyguards betrayed President Nicolas Maduro. This is a story regarding the Venezuelan president who is in the U.S. custody. U.S. delayed operation for 4 days because of unfavorable weather. That story is told in detail on page 4 and 5 of the Star newspaper. MPs call for probe into Alai Babu gun drama amid growing tension. That story is told on page 8. And about the weather, it will be hot and dry till March, but some places will get rains. That is according to the meteorological department, and that story is told on page 8 of the Star newspaper. Let's look at what is being reported on the front page of the Standard. For nearly a die-hard traitor, this is what is captured on the front page of the Standard. Die-hard traitor. For nearly 15 years, Suna East MP Junet Mohammed has hardly missed in the country's key political moments. A man unafraid of even mortifying himself, if need be, to sell his political agenda or that of his masters to the masses, is suddenly facing unexpected attacks, which include a Judas Iscariot label from his fellow leaders in ODM party. His responses have, rather than cool tempers, flared them, and even parties yesterday refused to comment on the matter. And instead, MPs drawn from it called on its leader to call for a housekeeping meeting. That story is told on pages 6, 7, and 8 of the Standard newspaper. And actually, that forms the part of our conversations, today's conversation, because we want to look at ODM's identity and direction. And to that effect, in studio, I'm joined by Thomas Omar, who is a governance and political expert. Welcome to Good Morning Kenya, and Happy New Year, by the way.
Happy New Year, Mike.
Umekuwa aje?
Nimekuwa salama kabisa. Na wewe?
Mimi nimekuwa salama kabisa. We are back at work.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. And Mheshimiwa Mark Dingo is a politician and governance expert. Karibu sana.
Asante, Mike.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
The holiday imekupeleka aje?
Holiday haikuwa mbaya. Yeah.
We thank God.
It was good.
Yes.
Tulipata mvua kidogo. Yeah, and we thank God.
Very important. I want to, before we even get into our day's conversation, I want to get your feel of the front page of The Star, where it is reported how bodyguards betrayed President Nicolas Maduro, an operation that led to the capture of Venezuelan President Maduro. And I'll start with you, Omar, because you are a consumer of local politics and geopolitics. What do you make of that? The U.S. moved to capture the Venezuelan president and arraign him in an American court.
Mike, about that, there is a serious conversation that I've been having in the recent past with Professor Kaudo Philip.
Yes.
That's a professor of political science who currently tutelages at the University of Nairobi. And this conversation was around international law. And the question that I posed to this friend of mine, is whether, this is the question that I asked, is international law? Are you getting that point?
Is international law?
Article 2.7 of the United Nations Charter is very crystal clear on non-interference of domestic affairs of other countries. What does it basically imply when the United States of America enters a sovereign state, smokes out a sitting president, then takes him to the United States to try him? That's a serious question that we are still discussing. The same international law has set institutions such as the International Court of Justice, the International Criminal Court, that is headquartered in The Hague. Since that institution was set up, since time immemorial, it's only African heads of state that have been tried. The other day, the United States of America was indicated in that court. The same to Israel. Why is it that those other countries are not part and parcel of this body? Back to your question. We saw the Delta Force, that's the elite force among the United Nations Army, went to Venezuela, smoked out President Nicolas Maduro, and extradited him to the United States of America for purposes of trial. So what does it basically imply? From the historical context, Mike, we have what we call the Monroe Doctrine. And with respect to the Monroe Doctrine, the United States of America was supposed to be in charge of the Western Hemisphere, including the Americas. So what this basically implies is that as the head boy of the Western Hemisphere and also the Caribbean Sea, the United States of America cannot just sit down and watch countries like Russia and also China take charge of the Caribbean Sea. Because, you know, the moment the USA is in charge of the Caribbean Sea, it basically implies that it controls all the trade routes in that particular sea. And when President Nicolas Maduro was arrested, there is something that came to my mind. You see, all along, Russia and China have been claiming to be allies of Venezuela. And in fact, the material day when Maduro was arrested, there were high-profile individuals from China who had gone to discuss matters of trade, to discuss matters of foreign policy with Venezuela. And on that same day, President Nicolas Maduro was arrested. So initially, I thought the world was a bipolar system. A bipolar system in the sense that we have two centers of power. That is the United States of America from one side, and also China and Russia from the other side. But now, when Trump entered Venezuela and smoked out President Nicolas Maduro, I now got convinced that we have a unipolar system with the United States of America being the global hegemony. Because if at all Russia and China were allies of Venezuela, why could they not protect President Nicolas Maduro? That was one question. Another question, what about the intelligence? Why was Russia and China not sharing the intelligence with Venezuela? And another thing, we saw the president of Cuba, President Miguel, strongly stand firm with Venezuela and say that Cuba is going to stand firm with Venezuela. But now, another serious question that arises is if a sitting president can be smoked out and tried in a foreign country, this must raise serious questions with countries that are against US like Brazil, countries like Colombia, countries like also Cuba, some mentioned. So I think according to the United Nations Charter, and as I've mentioned, Mike, Article 2.7 in particular, that states that there should be no interference of domestic affairs of other countries. That article should be upheld so that at least we have some sort of sobriety in the global scale. Yes. Yeah.
Makndingo, what do you make of all that within the context of geopolitics?
Thank you. I think what happened with the Venezuela president was more of Americans trying to set, or rather to stamp their authority in that part of the region. Because for one, when Trump was elected in his second term, he came with a policy of America first. And I tend to think this was something which was expected because there has been some issues with Venezuela concerning the drugs and so many Venezuelans trooping to America. And if you look at what is happening with Trump for the last few months when he was elected, he has, his tone has always been that he wants to have Americans for Americans. And it was something that was expected to happen. But I think it's something which needs to be condemned because capturing a president from a country which is a sovereign state is not something we can encourage because we need to have that respect of international laws where even if we have an issue with a country, there are so many ways we can solve those issues. And Trump capturing Maduro was not the best option at that time. But I think all the same, it is sending a message to some countries which have always been abusing human rights, that if you don't govern this, in a way that fits the law, you are going to be the next victim. So I think it's something we need to condemn also, and it's also something we need to learn that for other countries that are not having good governance, they need to also be prepared anytime Trump is going to come for them. Thank you.
All right. We're also joined by Wakili Gibson Gisore, who is an advocate of the High Court. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much, Mark.
How are you doing this New Year?
I've not seen you.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you.
Yes.
You know, you are just talking about, we're briefly talking about the events that happened over the weekend regarding the capture of a Venezuelan president by the American troops. And there's something that Omar said. Actually, it's a question. Is international law?
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's an interesting discussion to have in the new year,
yes,
to say the least, because as we stand right now, I think it's a clear demonstration that we do not have international law at play as we know it. At least we need to move on from that and have a different discussion. This is exhibited even by the reaction of the other countries and their premiers or presidents when they heard that Maduro had been picked at the middle of the night and he was on his way to New York. And you know, this could be able to happen to anybody. As it stands right now, I think America is trying to show its superiority. And if you don't align with America, then you are considered to be a miscreant gang, and you are a subject to be mistreated, to be given sanctions, and to also be, you stand even to be picked at the middle of the night. I understand Maduro was even living inside a military barracks. I'm wondering what happened. I don't think they even shot one bullet at the Americans. So they're trying to show their superiority. I think you saw how Trump is trying to say that this can only be done by the American army only. No other army in the world can be able to do that. Maduro had invested very well in defense systems, security systems, but how they went circumvented that and picked him is a question for another day. But from not going far from the legal question is, you see, the aspect of international law was meant to safeguard issue of sovereignty. But as it stands, if a different country can be able to attack, as we have seen in the case of Russia attacking Ukraine, and America was quiet, didn't actually started to encourage the other side to fight strongly. It becomes very difficult now because it's only the Russia which can be able to even make any statement, and you see they even don't sit at the G7 or the veto countries. They were already expelled. So that gives America the bully boy platform, which they are able to now stand around under. The other thing you could see is what happened, I think, recently also in the peace process in Palestine and Israel. We saw America parade even the UK Prime Minister there to sign some funny deal, which the other side had not consented to. So, and recently we saw what happened in the DRC. Kagame, even our president, was also invited there. So it's like it's either you are with America or you are on your own. And if you are on your own, then we stand to be attacked, you stand to be vilified, you stand to be sanctions to be laid upon your country and all sorts of things. So as it stands, any president who is not in good books with the United States of America is just waiting for his time.
Indeed.
Yeah, especially if you have minerals and oil, you are on the wrong side of it. I understand that Venezuela has one of the largest resources of oil and other minerals, critical minerals, which the US will want to lay their hands on, and no other country should be able to lay their hands on. So that is the big trouble which is actually causing all these things. Why is that Venezuela does not have minerals? I don't think, and there are even poorer countries down there. Understand even the aspect of the aspect of drugs. They only contribute 0.8% of the drugs which get into America. So that's not even a big deal. They are big players who should be picked at the middle of the night, not Maduro, not somebody operating at a 0.8%.
Indeed,
yes.
Indeed. Of course, we shall be keeping tabs on that story as it develops and bring you up to speed with the events as they unfold. Coming back home, I want us to focus on what is going on within ODM, given that recently we've seen war of words between ODM members and party leaders. And this is bringing a lot of questions in regards to the future identity and also the direction that the ODM is taking. And yesterday, Rarieda MP Otiende Amolo did call on the party leader to ensure that these wrangles are reined in on. So, because recently, actually, as recent as 23rd of December 2025, there was a research conducted by TIFA, and findings did indicate that ODM still remains the most popular party within the country, followed by UDA. But when it comes to matters of unity, the disagreements that we are seeing, that is where they are falling short, because there are those who want to stay aligned with the aspect of broad-based government, meaning that they are supporting President William Ruto, and also there are those who are pushing for a return to a clearer opposition stance. So let me pose this question to you, Omao. What do you make of all that is going on within ODM party?
One thing that I'm very, very certain, Mike, is that the moment a founding member of a political party or an organization dies, then that is just but the beginning of an end of that particular organization. For example, in the year 2018, Morgan Tsvangirai was the founding member of the Movement for Democracy Party in Zimbabwe. When Morgan Tsvangirai died, there were serious wrangles within that particular party. In fact, that was the largest opposition political party in Zimbabwe. But when Tsvangirai died in 2018, there was serious infighting within the party. People like the strongman Nelson Chamisa and people like Dr. Thokozani Kupe left that party and formed their own political outfit, which is the Citizen Movement Party. So when a founding member of a political party dies, then that is just but the beginning of an end of that political outfit. A good example that I've given you is from Zimbabwe. So after the demise of Morgan Shangirai, that was the beginning of an end of MDC. Because the strong people within that outfit left and began their own political parties. And the only remaining person in that party currently is someone by the name Douglas Monzora, who is an advocate of the High Court and also a member of parliament. So back here at home, we have seen serious ideological differences within the Orange Democratic Party. We have those political figureheads who feel that Dr. Oburu Odinga is not the right person to steer the boat of ODM towards 2027. We also have those radicals within the party who feel that the party should not support President William Ruto in the next elections.
Yes.
People like Professor Anyang' Nyong'o, people like James Aggrey Orengo, the governor for Siaya, feel that this is the strongest party that has its own values and principles that the party should not go against. We have also eavesdropped somewhere that there are cartels within this party who have at some point wanted to auction it to President William Ruto. The other day I saw someone speak that Homa Bay governor and the Suna East member of parliament are the ones who want to auction the party to President William Ruto, so that the president himself uses the party as his political vehicle as we approach the elections of 2027. So what I want to say is that initially, even before the death of Raila Amolo Odinga, ODM was seen to be the party that championed for the rights of the less privileged in the society, is the one that was fighting for the people in the society. So those principles must continue even without Raila Amolo Odinga.
Okay. That's a very important point to put that. But I want us to continue with this conversation after this short break, because this is a very interesting thing that we are witnessing within the ODM party. We are coming back to this conversation after this break.
Dr. Chung got shot. Huh? Never asked anyone to cut corners, and I never will.
Wipe his face! They're here!
Defibrillator, 200. Clear!
Greetings in the name of the Most High Jah Rastafari. My good name is Marley Moses, the positive warrior, alongside...
Yes, sir, DJ D-Rage, the baddest. Each and every Wednesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 TV.
Tunakuletea the biggest reggae party in 254 in a yard extra. Extra niceness of reggae music.
Extra dose of entertainment.
When the thing is nice,
we have to do it twice.
Want to enjoy free-to-air digital TV with crystal clear quality? Here's how to get started with Signet. Step 1. If you have a smart TV, you're good to go. Next, connect the aerial to your TV. Now, do an auto search on your TV. Just follow the prompts on the screen. And that's it. You're now tuned in to Signet. Sit back and enjoy a wide range of free-to-air digital channels. For technical inquiries, call the Signet hotline on 0770 572 656.
Right, welcome back to Good Morning Kenya. This is People and Politics, and we are talking about ODM's identity and direction. And Mark Ndingo, when you look at what is happening within ODM, and pegging on what Omau said in the course of his executing his point, is this the beginning of the end of the largest party in Kenya?
Thank you, Migwi. I think that that brings us to the question of, do we have parties in Kenya founded on ideology? Mm-hmm. And the answer is no, because most parties in Kenya are formed on personalities as opposed to ideology. Mm-hmm. And that's why you find any founding member of a party, when he passes on or he leaves the party, you will always find some issues with that party. And this is the case of ODM. What is happening is something to do with finding a way of how they are going to succeed Raila, and that will be, I think, a tall order, because I don't think in ODM there is anybody who can fit in the shoes of Raila. I want also to go back to some months back when the broad-based government was formed, and that could also form part of the problem we are witnessing in ODM, because when they came to an agreement with the current government, that is the Kenya Kwanza, the party leader, who is Raila, the former prime minister, did not give a right direction on where the party was going to go in the coming years, because you find he left the party with two factions, and I think that was a way of managing the president. Mm-hmm. So that anytime he finds he's not fitting the government, he would vote out. Mm-hmm. And if he finds he can fit in the government, he will still remain in the government. And that brought the two factions, the one with the Secretary General, Sifuna, and the other one with the so-called experts of the government, Kinambadi and Wandai and Joho. So I think what we are witnessing is something which is going to cost the party, and we have not seen much yet, because if you listen to the total of Raila, he is reading from a different script from his uncle and even the mother. So, and we have a group of members who are so much into this government that they are going to do anything to make ODM remain in the government. And that means we are going to have a divided ODM, and very soon we are going to have no party by the name ODM. So I think it's something they need to find a solution, which I don't think it will be found, because we have very different people, two different factions who have different ideological differences, which I don't think are going to be solved anytime sooner. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Indeed.
That brings a lot of issues in terms of what you would say matters to do with identity, and also when the party like ODM is divided, to whose advantage is it? But before we get back to that, I want us to look at a news article that is talking about what Otiende Amolo yesterday was saying. Let's take a look at that.
The spectacle of self-cannibalization that has been exhibited of late in our party. It is testament to how much we miss the wisdom and iconic leadership of our departed leader, Right Honorable Raila Odinga, that divisive rhetoric has taken over our politics without restraint. We call upon the party's elected leadership and the wider membership to uphold the tenets of unity and camaraderie espoused by the late Raila Odinga.
we have convened ourselves as concerned members of Parliament from ODM. And if you can judge us from where we are coming from whatever is coming out, you'll agree with us that we have not taken any side.
The ODM bigwigs concerned with the effect of the ongoing mudslinging, one that failure to address the issues with urgency will allow small parties to occupy political spaces previously occupied by ODM. They are confident, however, the internal wrangles can be solved internally without involving the National Delegates Conference.
Our challenges are self-inflicted. We must come as a party and look inwardly and solve our issues internally and stop blaming other people. We are the ones inflicting harm upon ourselves. We are creating a lot of confusion with our membership.
ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna and the leader of Minority Party in the National Assembly, Junet Mohamed, have been engaged in counter-accusations over the party's management of resources for the last general elections, a subject the Otiende-led caucus refused to comment on.
What's going on is the democracy in the D in ODM. ODM stands for the Orange Democratic Movement Party of Kenya. But two, that there are mechanisms that are in place, and as much as we are having this press statement, we're also in conversation with our party leader along the same lines. There's no disconnect.
That is Rarieda MP Otiende Amolo speaking there. And Wakili, some of the things that have come out of that conference is he spoke of upholding tenets of unity and camaraderie, and also democracy within ODM. The aspect of unity within ODM, is that playing out and to its advantage, given that there are continuing or ongoing war of words between party officials?
I think he's just trying to, from what I can get, what he's saying is that it's okay. He's trying to even allude it to the democracy in ODM. But from where I sit, I don't think that is the case. It's because that they're just trying to do some damage control. Because what we can see is a typical case of the death of an African father who was polygamous or had many kids. The sons will start fighting. One wakes up, states one statement, accuses the other of having mismanaged the family resources. Another one wakes up, says, you know, you and your mother, you look like you didn't come from here. So that is the typical case. And what is true as the sun could rise tomorrow is that ODM is no longer the ODM we know, because ODM was formed around the political figure Baba, who is now not there. That is where you can hear even and then the party leadership itself is also not one which inspires confidence, because as you can see, the statement they're giving, there's no even a chairman. There's no chairman. They're just members and the vice chairman. So what does that mean? If you saw the kind of statements we saw in Jirongo's burial the other day from the officials of the party, then it could tell you clearly that ODM is not reading from the same script. The accusations and counter-accusations among not even the small members, but the party officials, the ones who should be speaking in one voice, who should be convening a meeting and then giving direction, is what is even more worrying. That aside is that what does that portend for Kenya? I think that's where my concern is. ODM, as we know it, is one of the critical parties, or through its membership, which played a key role in coming up with the Constitution 2010. And it has been the vanguard of any progress or any realization of the benefits of the Constitution 2010. That is where Kenyans have endeared themselves towards ODM, with the belief that this is the party which understands where we have come from and where we're supposed to be going, is speaking for the small person. So the people who used to show up for rallies or demonstrations called by the party leader, the late party leader Raila Amolo Odinga, they were not doing it because they like him. They were doing it because of what it stands for and what the party has been seen to be standing for. So that is the biggest loss we have suffered as Kenyans, because that the current leadership or the direction the party is taking is not one which somebody can really count on and say that is still the same party which we knew as some years back. So that is a big loss for Kenyans, and it takes serious leadership to be able to steer the party back to a kind of to the hearts and souls of Kenyans. What needs to be done is that you see, what we have is an interim sort of leadership. They need to now do mobilization and be able to do elections across the country through the current leadership. Once that the people are put in office, now they will be legitimately be in office. Once they have been able to even choose a party leader or even ratify the current one who is there, who will now speaking with mandate. So once that happens, then they can be able to be akin to the snake which sheds off its old skin and takes on a new skin which is now fit for the purpose. But that is not an easier, that is an easier process said than done. Yes. Because it needs resources, it needs organization, and it needs unity. And it needs people to believe in the unity of the party, which as it stands, I don't think is the case. Then remember, the other challenge they stand to face is the one that they are in government. And I'm not sure whether the broad-based government, one of its agendas is to see a stronger party. So that will also be risking the relationship they have with the Kenya Kwanza Alliance. I think for me, where I sit is they need to go back to the old Azimio and then reconstitute. Because as ODM, as a unit, they might not be as strong as they expect to be. So if they can be able to play along the Azimio side, then they have even a better stand at making a case for themselves.
Yes. Omam, is a split ODM an advantage to the broad-based government or a detriment to it?
I think it's a serious detriment, more especially to President William Ruto, because with respect to William Ruto, he wanted to galvanize the party, make it united, so that he uses it. In fact, I have a very close friend of mine who works for the president as a political advisor. He at some point told me that don't be surprised to see President William Ruto use ODM as his political vehicle as we approach the elections of 2027. And as you are aware, Mike, is that President William Ruto is preparing for re-election, and we will leave nothing will be left to chance. He'll make sure that he unites each and everyone so that he gets the support of that particular party, and more especially Raila's political bastion of Nyanza and Western as we approach the elections of 2027. Yeah.
Mark Ndingo, when you look at the ODM and what is happening, can a party remain electorally credible while straddling both government, the side of government, corporation, and also still positioning itself within the side, on the side of opposition?
Thank you. I think before I comment on that, I want to comment on something Omar has said about the government, the president being divided, ODM being a detriment to ODM. I think it's working to the advantage of the president, because a divided ODM is good for him, because he can penetrate the voting blocks of ODM easier than when it is united. Because if you look at the two factions, it's only one faction which is too much in the broad-based government, as more than the other. And when ODM is divided, is going to reap more than when they are united, because you don't know what will happen once they are united and they have a good leadership. They might decide to run away from the broad-based government. Coming to your question, for a political party to survive, it has to have a clear direction of where the party is going. You cannot survive in a situation whereby you have one foot in the government and another foot in the opposition. And I think there was a big blunder for the former president to have gone without having given a direction on where the party was going. Because even during his times, you could hear some people talk about being in the opposition and others talk about being in the government. And even they went even further to say that in 2027 they are going to support the president. So in a situation like that, you always bring confusion, you always bring confused party and without direction, and it's going to lose much on that, because nobody knows where ODM is going. Because even now, we have even some officials, the likes of Sifuna, saying it publicly, that they are not even going to support the government in 2027. And remember, one time the former Prime Minister said that Sifuna was talking, whatever Sifuna was talking was the position of the party. So that one alone can bring a lot of confusion. And it's one of the things which is going to divide that party further. I think what they need to do is we have a clear and party leader who is elected by the party, as opposed to appointing somebody to lead the party. And if you look at even what the other people are saying, it's like when Oburu was being nominated to be the party leader, it is something that was done by very few people, as opposed to having a meeting for the whole party officials and deciding on who was supposed to take over for the time being. I think those are some of the issues which are affecting the party, and I think if they don't do something soon, we are going to see a disintegrated ODM in the coming days.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wakili, can these wrangles be solved internally once and for all?
Yes, it's possible for them to be solved, but now the question is, or the bigger question they need to face is, do they have structures to solve that? You see, if a parent, as I used the case earlier, if a parent did not put very clear structures in the family on how leadership is executed, and in case he's not around, who should be able to take charge, then those systems cannot bring themselves once he's gone. So the big question we should be asking ourselves, does ODM have structures for solving internal wrangles? Clearly, from what is happening, I don't think they do, or if they do, they don't respect them. The second thing is the goodwill, because do the party members have the goodwill to go through such structures, or do even those structures have teeth to actually be able to effect discipline in the party? So those are some of the critical questions which we look at, because for a country to be considered failed, Mike, is failure of its internal structures. For example, the judiciary is very corrupt, which cannot be able to, nobody trusts this. When the parliament is maybe not playing its role, then that country is safe and ripe to be considered to be a basket case for a failed state. So for ODM, the question which we should be asking is, does it have internal processes? Does its NEC have power? Do even the members of the NEC know themselves? Or do they even identify that they can be able to sit and make a deliberation on the best way forward? does it have a form of a tribunal or a section which is housed under the legal department, which can be able to execute consequences for people who are speaking outside the party's outlined rules or directions? The case as it is, from what I can see, Sifuna wakes up, accuses the minority leader. Next, the party leader is also saying we are deeply in government. Next, the other people are saying a lot of different things. They're shooting from different sides. That clearly tells you that they don't respect the structures, or the structures do not exist. Or if they exist, they don't respect the people running them, or the people running them actually do not even understand their roles. Or there is no clear modus operandi for the party. And that is a very big problem. That is why I think we can safely conclude that ODM as a party as we know it is gone. We just maybe need to, that's why they're even talking about selling the party. I had the former President Uhuru, some accusations run around that he's interested, and then the other people are saying that it's being sold to the Kenya Kwanza Alliance. So all these do not come from, they don't just come out of the whim. It is maybe a clear trajectory of where people have sat and seen there's no party here. So the only other thing which we can do is find another safe house to go and lodge. And that is where now everybody's trying to align the party ownership to some other house which is more stable. So the bigger aspect is they don't have leadership. Then the second aspect is that they don't, even the members who are in the party don't feel safe to be run by the current leadership. They want a more safer house, more steady house. Yes. You know, leadership poses a vacuum. So much as it's not a vacuum per se, but then the current leadership does not seem to speak strongly on issues party, and then even if it does not reflect on the members.
Indeed. In the interest of time, I'm going to give you each a minute to give your closing remarks, and I will start with you, Mark Ndingo.
Thank you. I think what I can say is that to ODM, they need to look for a better way of bringing their members together, and they stop giving different directions to our people, because it's a party that has been there for the last 15 years, and we would want ODM to exist so that even the founding member, that is the former Prime Minister, can also, wherever he is, feel good. To the country, I think let's hope the year is going to go well, and we expect to have better and healthy discussion as pertains to the politics of Kenya.
Thank you. Thank you. Omar.
Okay, mine, Mike, is to send a very, very strong message, especially to the united opposition. And it's my clarion call to this political formation to be very, very serious, especially if they want to unseat President William Ruto in the elections of 2027. The message is that removing William Ruto from office will not be a walking in a park, as they say. Let us see that particular unit of purpose. They are not united in the first thing, and if they continue misbehaving this way as we approach these elections, then their Waterloo will be most probably met at exactly 9 a.m. on the election day in 2027.
Yes.
Otherwise, I wish my brothers and fellow Kenyans at large a happy and prosperous New Year 2026.
Indeed. Wakili.
Yes, I think for me, Mike, is really to crown the point I was making for ODM, that if ODM, and the reason I make that point is because ODM seems to be a bedrock of democracy politics in Kenya, and it's safer for us to have strong parties. For whatever it is, ODM needs to put their house in order and be able to have clear leadership which can inspire Kenyans and its members. First, they need to start by going out and ensuring that they go back to the people. They seek to get the opinion of the people on the new direction of the party. Once they have done that, then let them congregate for an AGM and then give the way forward on where the party should be going, and put people who can inspire the party and lead the party to the future from now on. The longer that takes, the more the death alarms keep ringing in everybody's ears, and it's not for them, it's for the country.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for making time to come on Good Morning Kenya and talk about matters to do with the political landscape within the country, and specifically ODM's identity and direction. That is Gibson Gisore, who is an advocate of the High Court, also Thomas Omar, who is a governance and political expert, and Mheshimiwa Mark Ndingo, who is a politician and governance expert. This is where this conversation ends, but Good Morning Kenya still continues. We have a joint production with Radio Taifa, and they'll be talking about JSS transition to senior school. That session will be steered by one Dora Maya. My name is Mike Migwe. Thank you for tuning in, and keep it KBC Channel 1.
Let me remind you that she is in love with you. And it seems that you get a real kick out of playing along. Let me tell you that you're not only disrespecting me, but your daughter Nora as well.
Who is she?
Well, she's no other than the mother of your sister's best friend. Don't you find it strange?
I find it so disgusting.
Look, I have no idea what your mother told you, but that would be the last time you'll talk to me that way.
I don't want to hear any of your explanations.
In case you forgot, you're not his favorite daughter.
I know there was a time that Ligia was involved with a married man. And what's the name of that man? Amador Zuniga.
The world of governance is vast and can be alien to the ordinary man on the street.
Critical issues are going to be discussed.
From white papers to policy positions, it is easier to get lost in the labyrinth of words.
Inside Government takes you to key global metropolis where critical decisions are made and where policies are crafted.
We interview policymakers and senior government officials to highlight and enumerate government policies and projects. We take a deep dive into the underbelly of complex red tape to demystify policies across the country, across the world. Join me, O'Brien Kimani, on Inside Government, only on KBC Channel 1.
Looking to advertise on KBC? KBC announcement services are now available on eCitizen. Visit kbc.ecitizen.go.ke and fill out the online application form. It's simple. 1. Complete the form. 2. Upload required documents. 3. Receive a quotation based on word count. And 4. Get notified via SMS when your announcement is ready. Please note, clearly indicate the type of announcement, service station, and all relevant details. 2. All applications must be made online only. Manual submissions will not be accepted. And 3. Announcements will air after news bulletins. For assistance, reach us on email ecitizen@kbc.co.ke or use our social media handles, Facebook, your Facebook account, and X at your X account. Or you can call us on 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124. KBC announcements. Simple, fast, and digital.
Channel 1 na vile vile msikilizaji wa KBC Radio Taifa Sauti ya Mkenya, na labda nianze kwa kusema Happy New Year kwa koe ambaye hatujaonana ama tujazungumza katika mwaka huu wa 2026, nikiwa na wingi wa matumaini ya kwamba mwaka yako imeanza vizuri na tuwe na imani ya kwamba vile wanasema kwamba mambo yatajipa. Karibu tena katika mpango huu wa Zinga, ikiwa ni ushirikiano mkubwa kati ya Channel 1 na Radio Taifa, ambapo tunakutana Jumanne hii kuangazia masuala ya elimu. Leo tuongei siasa. Najua ni msimu wa ile tunasema back to school. Wazazi wako mbioni kuhakikisha kwamba watoto wao wanarudi shule, lakini pia kuna wale ambao pia wanajipanga kuanzia juma lijalo kuhakikisha kwamba watoto wao wanaingia katika ile tunasema kwamba senior school. Lakini yapo pia maswali ambayo yanaibuka kwa baadhi ya wazazi kuhusiana na mfumo huu ambao tunazungumzia wa CBE, labda tofauti na ile ambayo tunaondokea ambayo ni ya 844. Baadhi tu ya maswali ambayo tunaenda kuangazia hapa studioni na wataalamu wangu ambao ni wachanganuzi wa masuala ya elimu. Mtazamaji na msikilizaji, basi nakukaribisha. Kumbuka ya kwamba mwaka uliopita wanafunzi waliweza ama walifanya mtihani wa KJSEA ili kuweza kuhitimu kwenda katika shule za upili. Mtihani huo ambao uliweza kutolewa ama kutangazwa Disemba mwaka uliopita. Hata hivyo pia maswali mengi yameibuka kuhusu uchanganuzi ama uchaguzi wa wanafunzi wanaofaa kujiunga na shule za upili. Je, ni mbinu gani ambayo ilitumika kuweza kuweka wanafunzi kutoka shule moja na kwenda katika shule nyingine? Na pia wapo wale wazazi ambao wamelalamika kwamba watoto wao waliitwa katika shule za kutwa ili hali wanaishi mbali. Lakini usisahau kwamba pia Wizara ya Elimu ilipeana nafasi ya wazazi kuweza kubadili ama kutafuta suluhu katika masuala haya ambayo yalikuwa yanaibuka. Je, wazazi walisaidika? Kwa sasa wameridhika au bado? Yapo mengi ya kuangaziwa tu asubuhi ya leo katika mpango huu wa Zinga, ushirikiano mkubwa wa Radio Taifa na Channel 1. Karibu sana studioni kutusaidia kuelewa masuala haya. Basi nina wageni wawili. Kwanza kabisa na Bwana Henry Indindi ambaye ni mchanganuzi wa masuala ya elimu na pia ni mkufunzi.
Nashukuru. Naitwa Henry Indindi. Niungane nawe katika kuwatakia Wakenya mwaka wenye heri 2026. Alafu tuilee taifa tukiilea elimu.
Na kwanza nimekuita mkufunzi. Kuna tofauti ya mhadhiri na mkufunzi?
Ndio. Mkufunzi ni coach.
Okay, wewe ni mhadhiri. Asante kwa hilo. Na pia naye Dr. Morris Mutisi ambaye pia ni mchanganuzi wa masuala ya elimu kutoka Zizi Africa Foundation. Karibu sana.
Asante sana. Good having you today. Kwa majina ni Morris Mutisi, anafanya kazi na shirika la Zizi Africa Foundation. Na Zizi Africa Foundation tunafanya utafiti tukiungana pamoja na serikali ili kupata kusaidia watoto wetu wapate kusoma. Na pia naungana nawe na Bwana Hididi hia kuwatakia Kenya mwaka wenye heri.
Naam, asante. Nimependa sana wakati ambapo umesema mnafanya kazi pamoja na serikali kuhakikisha kwamba basi tunaelewa vizuri masuala ya elimu. Na nitaanza na wewe basi pale kwa serikali. Na kwa sasa najua hapo mabadiliko yanaendelea katika mtaala wa elimu. Kabla tuingilie masuala ambayo pia yanaibuka hapa na pale, labda ni msimu wa wazazi kurejea ama watoto kurejea shuleni. Wazazi wanalalama hapa na pale. Sijui kama upo wakati katika taifa ambapo tunakuwa tumejipanga, ijapo katika kufunguliwa katika shule zetu tukakosa lalama.
Ni kawaida ya binadamu, acha niseme hivyo. Kwanza kujipanga. Unajua hii mfumo yetu tuko nayo ni ile tunakuja kufungua shule after sherehe. Tumeenda Christmas, watu wamejipanga, wamefanya vitu mingi sana na muda pia inakuwa chache leo kujiprepare kwenda shule. Lakini kuna baadhi ya vitu labda tukikuwa tumefanya ni kwanza wazazi wapate kujua jukumu yao. Kwanza ni kujua after sherehe lazima shule sifunguliwe na lazima kukuwa na zile mahitaji zinahitajika. Lakini pia ukiangalia pia kuna hali ya uchumi. Imekuwa gumu, tunaelewa haije kwa rahisi kwa wazazi wengi sana, hasa mapato yameenda chini na hali ya elimu pia imeendelea kwenda juu. Ukiangalia vitabu, ukiangalia uniform, ukiangalia vitu kama hizo. Kwa hivyo unakuta mzazi yako katika ile ile 50-50. Hapo unapaswa kupatia watoto sherehe vizuri, wafanye vizuri, lakini hapa pia unapata kuwapatia elimu. Lakini venye nimeanza kusema ni sometimes is the way we prepare ourselves. Kwa hivyo yangu kusema tu ni ile kukaa pamoja, ni ile venye shule zinafunguliwa hivi, walimu kusikiliza wazazi ili watoto wapate kujiunga na shule na kuendelea na kusoma. Kuna ile mkakati wanaweza kuweka hata ikiwa mtoto ana kila kitu chochote yako nayo, anapaswa kuwa nayo, ili mtoto aende shule na aendelee kusoma. Wakijadiliana itakuwa vyema.
Shukrani sana Bwana Indindi. Tayari serikali imetoa kalenda ya masomo ya mwaka huu, na wakati tunazungumzia masomo sasa tunazungumzia mfumo tofauti ambao tumeingia. Mfumo hujaanza jana, umeanza kushughulikiwa tangu mwaka 2017, lakini bado kidogo kueleweka kwa mfumo huu. Wapo wale ambao kidogo hawajaelewa unafanya kazi vipi. Labda tusaidie tu kuelewa mfumo huu wa CBE haswa unatofautiana vipi na ule wa 844 ambao sasa tunaondokea nafikiri katika miaka 2 ijayo.
Nashukuru dadangu Dora. Mabadiliko si kitu chepesi kukubali, na kuondokea mfumo wa elimu ambao tulikuwa nao, mfumo wa maarifa, yani knowledge based wa 844, kuingia kwenye mfumo mpya wa umilisi na utendaji ya CBE inakuwa vigumu kwa wengine, kwa sababu mafunzo walioyapata katika siku za awali waliyapata katika mfumo ule wa awali. Maisha wanayoishi, mambo wanayatekeleza sasa, hasa wazazi ambao ndo wazazi wa watoto wanaosoma CBE walisoma mfumo wa 844. Kwa hivyo wanaona ugumu sana kuingia katika mabadiliko au kukubali jambo jipya, kwa sababu wangependa kuendelea na maisha kwa jinsi walivyoyaona. Lakini ulimwengu hauendi hivyo. Ulimwengu mabadiliko ni kitu haushi. Yanakuja haya ya umilisi na utendaji, kwamba awali tungewatahini wanafunzi ni nini wanachokikumbuka, lakini sasa hivi tunataka kuwatahini ni nini wanachoweza kukitekeleza, ni nini unachoweza kutenda, una ujuzi na uwezo wa kufanya nini, badala ya kukuuliza kuhusu unaweza kukumbuka nini katika yale uliyosoma. Sasa haya ndo mabadiliko ambayo tunayo, na ni mfumo mzuri. Mfumo ambao tumeingia sasa ni mfumo mzuri, hasa tukiangalia kule unakoelekea ulimwengu. Tunahitaji utendaji zaidi kuliko kukumbuka. Tunahitaji ujuzi na maarifa ya mikono zaidi kuliko kuulizwa kwa mfano panzi ana miguu mingapi, ana meno mangapi. Tunahitaji zaidi utendaji. Tukupe kifaa utumie kutekeleza mambo ya kiufundi, tukupe kinasa sauti kama hiki utangaze, au tukupe kitu kingine ukitumikishe katika kutekeleza kazi, badala ya kukuuliza tu kuhusu yale unaweza kuyakumbuka.
Naam. Labda ni rudi kwako Bwana Mtisia, manake mko sana katika haya mambo, na ulivyosema mwanzoni mafanyakazi za serikali. Tulizoea mfumo wa 844 nasari, tulikuwa tunaenda miaka kama 5, miaka 6, mimi nilienda kama miaka 6 hivi, mambo kama yale. Mfumo huu unachukua labda miaka mingapi? Imegawanywa kivipi kwa wale tu ambao huenda wangependa kuelewa zaidi?
Pema. Ukiangalia mfumo wa 844, na hiyo ni system ya 844, kulikuwa na miaka 8 primary school, kulikuwa na miaka 4 secondary school, na miaka ingine 4 chuo kikuu. At least miaka 4 chuo kikuu, because kuna watu wanafanya miaka 5, wengine miaka 6. Ukiangalia tukisema hii shule za chekechea, kwa hiyo mfumo wa 844 haikuwa kama lazima. Mtoto akifikisha umri wa miaka 6-7 unapaswa kwenda katika darasa la kwanza. Lakini kulikuwa na hiyo kawaida ya wazazi kupeleka watoto hata shule hizo za chekechea miaka 2, miaka 3. Kulikuwa na pre-primary, kulikuwa na baby class, kulikuwa na nursery, kulikuwa na pre-unit, kulikuwa na vitu mingi zilikuwa zimeendelea hapo hivyo. Nadhani hapo tulisoma katika mfumo sasa wa CBE wenye sasa uko na miaka 2 katika hiyo shule ya pre-primary. Tunasema pre-primary 1 na pre-primary 2. Ni watoto wanaingia kwa na umri wa PP1, PP2. Wenye wanaingia wakiwa na umri wa miaka 4 na miaka 5. Wakifika miaka 6 sasa wanaingia grade 1, sasa si standard 1. Na wanasoma miaka ingine 6 kutoka grade 1 mpaka grade 6. Hiyo ndio tuna sasa like the primary school yenye tuliko nayo. Then kutoka hapo tuliona mabadiliko ligia, sasa tukaanza kuwa na junior schools. Hizo sasa wanafunzi wanasoma miaka 3, grade 8, grade 7, grade 8 and grade 9. Na kutoka hapo sasa ndio sasa tuko hii harakati ya na transition kutoka junior school ya kwanza. So it's a very important moment for this country under the CBE, sasa kwenda grade 10 yenye sasa itakuwa kwa senior schools. Na senior schools are typically tulikuwa tukiita secondary schools. Lakini sasa tutakuwa na ile miaka 4, bado tutakuwa na miaka 3. Na kutoka hapo sasa ukimaliza pia wataenda university, na colleges. Universities itakuwa minimum ya 3 years. Ukiangalia katika mfumo wa 844 ilikuwa minimum of 4 years. Lakini pia ningetaka kusema, tunasema si 844 inaisha kwa miaka miwili. Bado hao wanafunzi wakitoka hapo wataenda colleges, bado wataenda universities. Kwa hiyo tuko na muda kabla 844 itoke kwa system kabisa.
Lakini wale secondary kwa sasa wako kidato cha 3.
Kidato cha 3. Kwa hivyo inamaanisha by next year 2027 ikiisha then tutakuwa 844 imeisha katika our primary and secondary schools.
Kwa hivyo mfumo huu itakuwa sawa kuita mfumo wa 2 6 3 3.
Yeah, itakuwa vyema kuita mfumo wa 2 2 6 3 3.
Okay.
Na kuna tatu ya mwisho.
Kuna tatu nyingine
2 6 3 3. Bwana ndini naona kidogo
ni kweli kwamba kuna miaka miwili ya chekechea, alafu kuna miaka 6 ya shule ya msingi, alafu 3 katika shule awalia ya sekondari awalia, alafu pevu ile ni miaka 3, kisha miaka mingine 3 chuoni. Na ulisema nasema kuhusu wale ambao wanafikiri sasa mfumo wa 844 umetelekezwa ama unaondoka.
Niliona katika majarida leo asubuhi kwamba wapo wazazi wanahisi kwamba watoto ambao katika mfumo wa 844 kidogo hawaangaziwi kwa sasa. Serikali inaangalia sana sasa mfumo huu mpya wa CBE.
Ndugu wazazi mlio na wasiwasi, wajua ile ni jambo la kawaida hasa katika ndoa za mitara. Akiolewa mke mdogo anaonekana kuwa na fasheni sana kushinda yule wa kwanza, lakini haimaanishi kwamba yule wa kwanza si mke. Yule wa kwanza pia ana nafasi yake na ana nafasi muhimu. Kwa hivyo mfumo wa 844 ungalipo, kuna kidato cha 3, kuna kidato cha 4. Nafasi hizi zote ni muhimu kwa sababu wakitoka hapo wanakwenda chuoni. Jambo ambalo limekuja zuri ni kwamba wale ambao ni wa mfumo mpya wa CBE ama umilisi na utendaji wanaingia kusoma pamoja na wale waliosoma 844, wanaosoma 844. Kwa hivyo inawezekana hawa watakuwa na tajriba nzuri hata kushinda wale watakaowafuata baadaye. Wanaweza kuchota maarifa kutoka kwa watangulizi wao na pia waingie na maarifa mapya wanayoingia nayo.
Na nikumbusha kwamba wanasema pia ule mfumo wa 844 wakati ulikuwa unaingia kuondoa ule wa ilikuwa CPE ama ulikuwa namna gani, pia kulikuwa na mambo kama haya kwamba walikuwa nakutana mahali.
Unakutana mahali na ukiingia unapata bahati ya kuchota maarifa kutoka kwa wenzio wanaoondoka na wao wanachota maarifa kutoka kwa wale wanaoingia, na hilo linakujengea tajriba kubwa kushinda mtu ambaye atakuwa ametoka tu bila kuionja hii nyingine.
Kinachojitokeza kwa sasa
kugusia kidogo hapo kabla, unajua wakati tulifika junior schools, tulikuwa na wanafunzi walikuwa wameenda grade 8. Na mtoto mwingine hapo, mwanafunzi hapo ameingia grade 7 na anasemekana ako secondary, na kuna mwingine ameingia grade 8 anasemekana ako primary. Ulikuwa msuko ulikuwa, na ni kawaida katika mabadiliko, lazima kukuwe na msuko vitu siendelee. Kwa hivyo napendelea venye anasema kuna ile maarifa pia inapatikana. Na ukiangalia sasa wale wanafunzi walikuwa grade 7 na walienda sawa grade 8, ile grade 8 ya mwisho, sasa wanaenda kupatana tena secondary school. Si vigumu kuta mlikuwa the same primary school, ukaingia junior school na sasa mnaenda kupatana katika secondary school moja. Kwa hivyo pia wako wanajuana.
Kinachojitokeza kwa sasa pia ni labda kidogo hisia mseto kuhusiana iwapo tumejiandaa kikamilifu. Hasa kidogo baadaye tutazungumzia masuala ya kuelekea katika ile tunasema senior school, lakini matayarisho mazima katika mabadiliko haya, ijapo katika miundo misingi, kuhakikisha kwamba zipo rasilimali za kutosha katika shule zote. Mnakoketi ninyi kama wataalam kwa sasa, ijapo katika miundo misingi na rasilimali katika shule zetu, tunaweza kusema kwamba shule zote zimeshughulikiwa sawa? Kwa sasa mwanafunzi anafaa kuwa na ujasiri kwamba ukiitwa katika shule hii ama ukienda huko, la msingi ni kwamba kuna rasilimali na utapata masomo.
Nianze kwenye shule pevu ama shule ya upili pevu, senior school. Ni kwamba hapa pamekuwa na nafasi nzuri kwa sababu kuna madarasa mawili ambayo yapo na ni huria. Sasa hivi hakuna wanafunzi wa kidato cha pili na wanaingia wa kidato cha kwanza. Watapata madarasa ambayo yangetumiwa na wanafunzi wa kidato cha pili na wanafunzi wa kidato cha kwanza. Kwa hivyo ikiwa ni miundombinu ama miundo msingi ya madarasa wanayo ya kutosha. yale ambayo yangetumiwa na kidato cha pili na yale ambayo yangetumiwa na kidato cha kwanza. Si sawa na hali tuliyoshuhudia katika junior ama sekondari ya walia ambao walikuwa wanaingia lakini hakuna madarasa ya kutosha kwao. Hivyo kwa hivi sasa kuna nafasi. Pili ni kwamba tunatarajia ikiwa shule ilikuwa na walimu wa kutosha, ingawa idadi ya walimu haitoshi katika shule zetu, lakini angalau ikiwa kulikuwa na walimu ambao wangekuwa wanashughulikia kidato cha kwanza, pili, tatu na 4, sasa hivi kuna walimu wa kutosha kushughulikia hawa wanafunzi wanaoingia katika senior school mwaka wa kwanza. Hapo pia tunatarajia kwamba tutakuwa na idadi ya kutosha. Jambo ambalo tunaweza kulizungumzia pengine ni je, tumewaandaa kisawasawa kutekeleza mfumo huu mpya wa elimu, hasa ikichukuliwa kwamba wao walisomea mfumo tofauti, wametekeleza mfumo tofauti kwa kipindi kirefu. Hayo ndio maswali tutakayokuwa nayo. Na kwenye maandalizi hayo nahisi kwamba hatukujiandaa kisawasawa, hasa kwa kuandaa walimu. Lakini walimu ni watu wanyumbufu, ni flexible. Ni watu ambao ukiwaweka katika darasa hili na waambie tunafikiri huu ndo mkondo, wakiamua kutekeleza wanaweza kuyasoma hayo na wakatekeleza hata katika kipindi cha mwezi mmoja.
Lakini kwa sababu pia wako flexible, mbona sasa hizi ni ruhusu nitumie neno sitaki kusema kelele, lakini mbona utofauti na hisia sana sana wale walimu ambao wanafaa kwa pale junior secondary wanataka kujisimamia, ile kwa Kiingereza wanasema autonomy. Kama wao ni watu flexible, mbona kuna hiyo vuta ni kuvuta? Labda anaweza Bwana Mtisia.
Napenda jenye amesema kabla sijaingia kufutana. Ya kwanza ni amesema kuna madarasa na madarasa ipo. Lakini pia ukiangalia shule za sekondari hazijakuwa sawa. Kuna shule zilikuwa kama ukienda national schools na zile zingine zilikuwa na vifaa mingi sana, maabara na vitu mingi sana. Kuna shule zile za sub county schools zingine hata hizo madarasa labda sikuwa nazo za kutosha na walimu wa kutosha. Na kwa hivyo nikisema lingine ya kwanza kuangalia ni kuhakikisha kuna usawa katika shule zenye tuko nazo za senior schools hizi, ili wanafunzi wakiingia huko wapate nafasi moja. Kuna mwanafunzi anapaswa kwenda shule ajisikie yeye already shule imempeleka chini, na hiyo ni kitu ya maana. Equalization, getting a system that serves every child in an equitable way, and we'll talk about this transition. I think kwanza kuna hii neno secondary school, I think ilileta maneno. Junior schools zilikuwa itwa junior secondary schools, then senior secondary schools, and then primary schools. But baadaye ukiangalia ile presidential wakipati walikuja wakasema tutoe jina secondary school. Sasa tuna junior school na tuna senior schools. Lakini ukiangalia katika hiyo recommendation walikuwa wamesema tukuwe na comprehensive schools. Na comprehensive school inapaswa kuwa na shule ya chekechea mpaka hata siku iko na senior school ikwe kama comprehensive school. Lakini sasa ukiangalia comprehensive school mingi zenye tuko nazo ni shule ya chekechea, primary na hiyo junior school. So juu tuleta hii categorization na tukakuja na ya katikati yenye haikuwa, au walimu wanajisikia wao wako primary school, wanajisikia wao wako katika senior school. Na ukiangalia kuna ile KUPPET, kuna ile NAT, kuna ile Kenya Primary Schools and Association, Kenya Secondary Schools and Association, and all the primary schools hizo wamejiita Kenya Comprehensive. So ili kuhakikisha at least mfutano yenye iko imetoka. Na ni kawaida kila mtu kumali yako kutaka kujisafeguard, usikie mko pamoja, mwanze kufanya maneno yao pamoja, and with a matter of time I think itakuwa imesettle down.
Shukrani.
Sijui kama utaniruhusu kuchangia hilo. Ndio. Nafikiri jambo moja ambalo walimu wanaofundisha junior school hawakuelewa, waliingia wakiwa na shahada, wakafikiri wenzao wanaofundisha katika shule ya msingi walikuwa na vyeti tu na stashahada, kwa hivyo wakahisi kwamba wako chini kidogo. Lakini hilo si kweli kwa sasa. Asilimia kubwa ya walimu wamerudi vioni wakasoma, na inawezekana hapo darasani anafundisha mwalimu shule ya msingi ambaye ana hata shahada ya uzamifu. ni muhimu kuheshimu hilo, ili ukiingia katika majilisi ama staff room ujue una wenzio ambao inawezekana mna kiwango sawa cha elimu na mna kiwango sawa cha utendaji.
Naam, mtazamaji na msikilizaji, natumai unamakinika na pia kando na kujifunza masuala ya mtaala huu mpya, karibu unazoea kama karibu tuzoee, pia unajifunza Kiswahili hapa studio na wataalamu wangu wa elimu Bwana Henry Ndindi na vile vile Bwana Mutisia kutoka Zizi Afrika, tukiangazia masuala haya ya mfumo huu wa elimu. Hebu tuangalie swala ambalo pia limezua tumbo joto kwa sasa, na tuangazie transition hiyo, tunasema kusonga kutoka kiwango kimoja kwenda kingine. Kabla turejelee masuala mengine, kumekuwa na nafasi ya wanafunzi kuchagua masomo ambayo watataka kuyafanya, ile kwa Kiingereza wenyewe mnasema pathways, na mkagawanya mara 3. Na hadi kufikia sasa, baada sasa ya zile shule ama mtoto kuitwa katika ile shule ambayo alikuwa amechagua, na kidogo wanasema ni system ilikuwa automated na mambo kama yale, imeleta mtafaruku kidogo. Sijui mnasemaje kuhusiana na swala hili la pathways. Tulipokuwa tunasoma, kwa mfano, ilikuwa ukifika katika kidato kama cha pili, sasa unaweza ukafanya maamuzi ukachagua, kama kwa mfano nitafanya masomo ya kemia ama nifanye fizikia ama nifanye jiografia ama historia katika kidato cha pili. Hapo inamaanisha kwamba kidogo una ukomavu wa kiakili. Wapo wanaohisi kwamba kuambia watoto wachague ile tunaita pathways katika nafasi ambayo wako nayo, bado kidogo walikuwa hawajakomaa. Sijui mnasemaje kuhusu hilo?
Nikianzia nikitaka kwanza turejelee tujiulize nini nafasi ya junior schools. Na ukiangalia katika hiyo policy ya CBE, junior school ilikuwa karibu na objective karibu 3. Ya kwanza ni ile ya kuexpose watoto na hizo masomo tofauti, learning areas, ili wapate kujua which pathways they are going to take. Na kuna ile ingine ya abilities na potential and exploring the interest, ili mtoto achipate kujua venye alianzia kusema katika mfumo ya CBE ni utendaji, ili mtoto ni nini anapata. Lakini pia kuna ile hali ya interest yeye, na ukiangalia potential yake ni nini wanataka kufanya maishani mwake. Weka masomo knowledge kando, angalia mtoto ni nini anapenda kutenda, ni nini anapendelea, zile vitu kila siku anafanya. Na ile ya mwisho ni ile ya mzazi, mwanafunzi na mwalimu kukaa pamoja ili kusaidia mtoto apate kujijua ni wapi yako. Hizo vitu baadhi 3 naona ya kwanza ya kufunza hiyo imeendelea. Although tumekuwa na shida ya junior schools, hatukuja kuwa na walimu wa kutosha. Kuna shule zilikuwa na walimu 2, 3, wengine 4 wanasaidiana na primary school. Unakuta hata kuna shule nyingine labda hata ina mwalimu wa kufunza integrated science na vitu kama hizo. Kuna hizo shida zimekuwa, lakini hiyo aspect ya ya masomo yenye the learning areas imefanyika vizuri. Lakini ukiangalia ile interest ya potential na vitu zingine, hapo kuna tatanishi kidogo. Na ukiangalia hivi sasa tukianza inamaanisha watoto wakianza au wanafunzi wakianza kwenda senior school, kuna ule wakati wanaenda mtoto anasema mimi siku mzuri na hesabu, lakini napenda sana kutengeneza magari na vitu kama hizo. Anaenda anachukua STEM. Na hapa system imeleta 8 point scale. Pia lazima uhitimu katika masomo kadhaa ili uingie kwa STEM. Sasa ikaleta shida. Unakuta sasa ile mwanafunzi alikuwa amechukua labda ya kwanza, si yenye amepata ingine. Unaelewa hivyo? Ulikuwa umechukua STEM, labda zile points zinahitajika, na katika hizo masomo za STEM hujafikia. Umeenda umepatiwa hiyo second choice. So inamaanisha sasa mzazi anaanza kuona na mtoto wangu sasa anaelekea wapi? Ama ni nini inatendeka? Ile kitu kingine ilitendeka, sidhani kama tulijumuisha wazazi vyema katika mfumo ili wapate kuelewa pathways ni nini, wapate kuelewa ni nini wanapaswa kuangalia katika mzazi. Tumekuwa last year ikiisha, tumekuwa na towns na tulikuwa tukizungumza na wadau. Na kitu moja, kuna mzazi mmoja aliamka akasema ile selection ya shule it was like a forced marriage. Na akifafanua akasema tuliitwa tu tukuja tukaambiwa sasa ni wakati wa kuchagua shule na pathways, na hatuelewi tunatoka wapi. Hiyo nafasi ya mwanafunzi kutoka grade 7, grade 8, grade 9 kukaa na walimu na mwanafunzi na mzazi ili wapate kuelewa, hapo kuna mahali haikutendeka vyema. Lakini tuko hapa hivi, tumefika mahali sasa lazima wanafunzi waende. So ndio unaona serikali inapatia wanafunzi nafasi, lakini kitu kingine pia imetendeka na labda haikuwa wazazi na wanafunzi wameelezwa vyema ni categorization ya shule from C1 to C4. Na tukiangalia the presidential working party, it pronounced itself ikasema, can we stop categorizing schools from national to sub-county? Is it? Yeah. Lakini sasa tuko na C1 to C4. Na mwenye anaenda C1, which is like now the national schools, yenye siko na all the 3 pathways as STEM, so social studies and arts and sports. Kuna zile points unahitaji kufika katika mfumo ili to be admitted there, which are lower kuliko C4, which is like a sub-county day school. Kwa hivyo kuna ile naona serikali imejaribu sana kuweka system ya kuplace watoto wanafunzi katika ile pathways kwa Kiswahili tunahitaji, lakini kuna mazungumzo ingeendelea hapa katikati, tupate kujua, wazazi wapate kujua, wanafunzi wapate kujua what they expect at the end of the day. If you miss one, you go to what does that really mean? If you don't get your first school of choice and you get this, what does that really mean? And I think ni nafasi
ni swali ambalo pia limenitatiza kwa muda, kama kweli kuna utofauti, maana tulikuwa tunaangazia kuondoa ile tunasema labda grading ya kusema sasa huyo umeitwa hii shule national, huyo umeitwa katika hii shule, ile competition ambayo kidogo ilikuwa wanasema pia inapelekea wanafunzi kuiba mitihani na mambo kama yale. Sasa iwapo kwa sasa pia bado tumekwenda katika pathways na bado tunazungumzia hapa C1, tunazungumzia C4 na sasa hizi kila mtu anataka kwenda C1, tumesuluhisha chochote japo katika kuchagua na levels za shule?
I think you kuleta C1 to C4 imeleta utatanishi mingi sana. Hakuna watu wengi kwa kitarajia kitu kama na iko imesema, I don't think it was in the public domain for people to get to know that.
Nafikiri tatizo kubwa ambalo tumekuwa nalo katika taifa hili ni kwamba hatujiwezesha shule hizi kufika katika kiwango ambacho mtoto anayesomea katika shule fulani anahisi kuwa sawa na anayesomea katika shule nyingine. Na hayo ni zao la jambo ambalo alisema mwanzoni. Je, tumeweka vifaa kiasi gani katika shule hizi? Kwa sababu si walimu wanapitia katika vyuo sawa, wanapitia katika mikono ya wahadhiri sawa. Hewa inayovutwa na wanafunzi hawa ni sawa. Tatizo lipo katika vifaa ambavyo tumeweka katika shule hizi na uangalizi unaofanyika kwenye shule zenyewe. Vinginevyo mtoto ambaye anasomea katika shule ya kutwa ya day school kule nyumbani angejiona sawa na yule ambaye anasoma katika shule ya bweni ambayo ni alliance ama hiyo nyingine ya C1. Tukitoa vifaa vya kutosha katika shule hizi, basi kutakuwa na usawa. Lakini maadamu hatujafanya hilo, bado kutaendelea kuwa na tofauti hizi zinazodhihirika. Na mtoto atataka kwenda katika shule ambayo anahisi ina vifaa vya kisawasawa. Akisoma kuhusu urubani, anaweza kupelekwa kuona ndege. Akisoma kuhusu ufundi wa kutengeneza stima, anaweza kupelekwa katika chumba maalum akasomea ufundi wa kutengeneza stima na akaona. Ama akienda katika shule ambayo ina sanaa ya muziki na uchoraji, anataka kujiona akiwa na vifaa vinavyomwezesha kufanya mambo haya. Na Dora inafurahisha kwamba watoto wetu wenyewe wapo ambao wameteua arts and sports science wenyewe, kwa sababu mwenyewe anaona matamanio yake ni kwenda kwenye hii sehemu ya sanaa na michezo. Na mwingine akateua masomo ya sayansi na ufundi kwa sababu anajiona mwenyewe anatamani kuwa daktari, anatamani kuwa fundi na kuelekea kwenye mkondo huo. Lakini wapo ambao pia washahiari, mimi nishaamua naona nitakuwa wakili, kwa hivyo ameenda kwenye social science, hiyo pathway wenyewe wameteua. Na alivyosema ndugu yangu, kuna hatua moja ambayo tuliivuka na huenda sasa hivi ni fursa nzuri kuitekeleza. Tuwashirikishe wazazi kikamilifu kuyaelewa haya yanayoendelea katika maisha ya watoto wao. Je, mtoto anavyomuona kule nyumbani ana matamanio ya kuwa daktari? Unajua mtoto ukimuona hata ukichinja kuku akiona damu anatoroka
huyo hawezi kuwa daktari.
Anakuambia anakwenda kwenye upasuaji. Lazima uanze kuzungumza naye, aanze kuelewa ni nini ambacho atakiona zaidi kwenye udaktari au taaluma ya tiba ambacho kinaweza kuwa na maandalizi katika kuona kuku akichinjwa.
Kwa hivyo inarejesha pale. Je, haya maamuzi yameletwa kwa mapema, mtoto haja komaa, ama ni sawa tu kwamba maandalizi yaanze mapema tukisonga mbele?
Kwa kweli maandalizi yanapaswa kuanza mapema, na mtoto Kwa mfano tukizungumza kuhusu hii miaka, wajua shule ya msingi ya awali ilikuwa miaka 8. Sasa hivi imekuwa miaka 6. Hii miaka miwili ambayo ilikuwa katika miaka 8 imerushwa katika junior school. Na shule ya upili ya kawaida ilikuwa na miaka 4. Sasa hivi na miaka 3. Mwaka wa 4 wa kule umerejeshwa hapa. Kwa hivyo hakuna tofauti kubwa katika hali hii. Ni miaka miwili iliyokuwa ya msingi imechanganywa na mwaka mmoja uliokuwa wa upili, na hapo ndio wanafunzi walikuwa wanafanyia maamuzi kuhusu masomo wanayotaka kuteua. Kwa hivyo ni sawa tu.
Nimekuwa juzi mahali na imeanza kujitokeza. Sasa kama mtoto wako alichagua STEM, eti mtoto wako ni mwerevu. Unasikia wazazi wakizungumza hapa na pale, mtoto wako ni mwerevu kwa sababu alichagua yale masomo ya sayansi, teknolojia, uhandisi na hisabati. Kwamba kama wako ameitwa kwa zile social sciences kidogo anaanza kuona yuko chini. Alafu sasa akienda kwa arts unahisi kwamba yuko chini. Na imedhihirika pia wakati ukiangalia idadi waliochagua shule zile za ama masomo ya STEM, takriban nusu milioni ya wale wanafunzi 1.1 takriban walichagua masomo ya STEM. Sasa sijui kama italeta kutokuwa na usawa kwa mapema tukisonga mbele, kwamba we can tell huyu yuko kwa ile shule kidogo hayuko vizuri kimasomo, lakini yule ambaye yuko kule sasa hawa ndio future nchi fulani.
Sidhani, lakini labda kuna hiyo mindset uko nje. La ukitwa STEM wewe ni mwerefu, na ukitwa arts and sports wewe si. Hapana, haipaswi kuwa hivyo. Nikirejelea venye nilisema, interest potential ya mtoto. Unaweza kuwa ni wewe ni mwerefu na unasema mimi katika maisha yangu nataka kuwa katika hiyo nyanja ya arts and sports. Na umepata hata hizo 72 points na unaenda hapo, hakuna ubaya. Haimaanishi wewe ati wewe umelegea kimaisha ama nini. Na ni vizuri wazazi wapate kuelewa hivyo. Ya pili yenye nikitaka kusema, ukiangalia hasa serikali pia iko na malengo. Inasema katika zile training mingi zinafanyika 60% siende kwa STEM, because we also looking on the future of the country and the global. Kuna the way the development itakuwa. Kwa hivyo hiyo ni nafasi moja serikali ilikuwa imesema at least 60% of learners na training sikuwa on the science, technology, engineering and mathematics. Na ukiangalia hii maanishi sasa juu serikali inataka hivyo au ndio wale watu werefu. Hapana, ni kuangalia malengo ya nchi na kuangalia ni wapi tunataka kuelekea.
Lakini inamaanisha basi ipo hatari kwamba zipo shule ambazo zitakuwa na wanafunzi kupita kiasi, na huenda kutakuwa na shule ambazo labda wanafunzi watakuwa wachache.
I think imeonekana. Nimekuwa kwa nyumbani mashambani na nimeona wasasi venye hata shule zingine niko kwa kanisa wanasema wanataka wanafunzi waende wakapply hizo mashule zao wanawaita. Na nimeona wanafunzi wameitwa shule zingine na bado wanapata barua zingine kwa mashule zingine. Sasa sijapitia kwa system because kuna hiyo kuna wasekana, lakini by the time hii system inaenda kuseta unaona wasasi hakuna shule itakuwa na wanafunzi. Kuna shule itakuwa na wanafunzi. Hiyo ni ya kwanza. Ya pili, yenye nikitaka kuongezea hapo ni ile ukiangalia STEM, the 3 pathways, na wende shule kama Alliance, you see for an example national schools, they're offering the 3 pathways, most of them. The extra counties really I now see two, they're offering at least also I think the three of them. Kwa hivyo tupata wanafunzi katika shule moja wako mixed. Kuna wanafanya hii, kuna wanafanya hii, lakini kuna kitu moja itakuwa ikiwajumuisha. I say me because you're not doing arts and sports, au utaenda kufanya extracurricular activities, utajipata kwa kiwanja, because we have to keep a healthy nation. Lazima watu wapate kujua how to exercise na vitu zingine. Na ukifika wakati utakuta wanafunzi wataanza kuongea pamoja, wataanza kuidirect pamoja, wataanza kuappreciate yule mwingine chenye anafanya. Kwa sababu kitoka hapa nje atakuwa na umuhimu wake. Utakuwa wewe kwa STEM, kuna umuhimu wako. Kuna mwingine utakuwa ukimhitaji. Na ukianza kufanya kazi pamoja, utaona kila mtu ataanza kuappreciate ni nini what each pathway means. It doesn't mean now juu nimefanya stay mimi sasa ni mimi mrefu kabisa katika hii dunia.
Naam, Dora, nafikiri nilifafanue hili ambalo analisema ndugu yangu kwa sababu ni muhimu sana.
Naam.
Na wapo waimbaji wawili, wasanii wawili wa nyimbo za Kijaluo. Mmoja anaitwa Osogo Winyo. Aliimba wimbo unaitwa Jiromre, na mwingine akaimba Wechayo Jathum, huyu Emma Jalamu. Wanasema hata wewe ukiwa mhandisi unamhitaji huyu mwanamuziki. Na ni kweli, kwa sababu daktari akishatoka kwenye chumba cha upasuaji na anahitaji utulizo wa akili, anamhitaji nani? Anamhitaji yule mwanamuziki. Huyo mwanamuziki anamhitaji sound engineer, mhandisi wa kutengeza sauti. Hawa watu wote wanahitajiana. Kwa hivyo ima mtu amekwenda kusoma masomo ya sayansi, teknolojia, uhandisi na hisabati, na huyo mwingine amekwenda kusomea muziki na sanaa, wote wanahitajiana. Atafika mahali amhitaji wakili. Unafika mahali unahitaji kusoma kitabu cha fasihi. Unamhitaji huyu wa social science. Na hivyo ndivyo maisha yalivyo. Alafu muhimu zaidi wa kwamba mkate uje mezani. Sasa mkate kuja mezani, wa Cristiano Ronaldo unaweza kuja kwa sababu anacheza mpira. Wa Victor Wanyama unaingia kwa sababu anacheza mpira, si kwamba amekwenda kusoma STEM ya mpira. Na hili lazima tuliheshimu. Mwingine mkate wake unaingia ni kama mimi, unaingia kwa sababu ninafundisha na ninaandika vitabu vya fasihi. Shaona. Lakini upo mwingine ambao utaingia kwa sababu yeye ni mtu wa teknolojia, ni mtu wa uhandisi, na mwingine ni wa hisabati. Hawa watu wote wanahitajiana na kila mmoja anahitaji mkate mezani. Hakuna mkate ambao ni mzuri zaidi ya mwingine.
Kabla tumshirikishe mwananchi asubuhi ya leo kupitia mitandao yetu ya kijamii, msikilizaji na mtazamaji unaweza kuweka ujumbe wako pale katika mtandao wetu wa Facebook KBC Radio Taifa Sauti ya Mkenya, KBC Channel 1, na pia unaweza kuntag @Doramanya kupitia mtandao wa X na #Yazinga #GMK. Basi kama una swali lolote ama kuna swali ambalo ungependa pia tukaweze kulichanganua ipasavyo, una nafasi ya kufanya vile, na katika muda si mrefu tutaweza kupokea simu chache. Tulihitaji hili kabla tujakwenda kupokea simu chache. Kwa sasa tumezungumzia ndio hizo pathways hizo tatu ambazo tumesema, mmesema haitaleta shida yoyote. Mtu wa STEM ni sawa tu, imanishi ni mwerevu kuliko mtu ambaye amechukua arts and sports na pia social sciences, kwamba wote ni sawa. Lakini jambo moja ambalo pia nimeona likijitokeza pia kwa walimu haswa walimu wakuu ambao wamehisi ni kama yale mamlaka ya kuchagua ama wanafunzi kuchagua zile shule ambazo wanataka ni kama wamenyang'anywa. Mnachukuliaje kwamba sasa mara hii kuchaguliwa kwa shule ilifanyika katika njia tuseme ya mtandao? Sema kwamba ilikuwa ni automated kwamba ndio sababu walipeana wiki moja. Kama unalalama mtoto wako kuitwa mahali ambapo ulitaka, bado kunaweza kuwa na mabadiliko. Huu mfumo huu kwenda mbele ndio unafaa kutumika vile, ama turejeshe mamlaka ya uchaguzi wa shule katika shule za upili hasa kwa walimu wakuu?
Nikiongelelea hiyo ningesema the world is developing very fast and technology is the way. Hii walimu kwenda kukaa chini kusema nachukua huyu wechukua huyu, I think hiyo ni wakati umepita. Lazima to utilize technology na technology yenyewe. Ukiangalia venye wanafunzi walikuwa wameambiwa chagua shule 12 nadhani, shule 9 zilikuwa za their first pathway yenye wanataka ya kwanza. I think zile zingine 5 3 ama ni 3 try to remember. So the second pathway. Na venye serikali ilifanya ni hizo ziliwekwa kwa system, na ikasema sasa kulingana na venye umefanya. Unakumbuka tena tukirejelea kidogo pia ukiangalia placement na inahitaji sana zile points na zile masomo mwanafunzi alikuwa amefanya kulingana pia na ile pathway alikuwa amechagua. Na ukiangalia kulikuwa na grade 6 assessment yenye ili contribute 20%, kulikuwa na school based assessment ya grade 7 and 8 yenye ili contribute another 20%. Kuna hii KJSEA yenye walifanya last year yenye ilikuwa sasa i-contribute 60%, ilikuwa 100%. Kwa hivyo ukilinganisha hiyo na venye mwanafunzi alikuwa amechagua, then ukiweka kwa system inapaswa kusema acha tuweke mwanafunzi hapo. Na pia ukiangalia zile shule walikuwa kichagua tena 12 7 zilikuwa sikue I think boarding schools. 3 sikuwe with the regional na zingine 2 sikuwe kama sub county or the days. Kwa hiyo uko nao this information, ukiweka mahali pamoja, the system within a minute na kupatia, badala ya kuchukua tunachukua national then tunaenda extra county, inachukua muda mwingi kabla mwanafunzi kupata.
System mimi niko Nairobi, alafu mtoto anaitwa shule ya kutwa Lwahaha mpakani.
I think kulikuwa na tatizo pia. Na tatizo kwanza ni ile wanafunzi wanaenda wanachukua shule moja wengi na shule zingine hazina wanafunzi. Unaona hivyo, wamechukuliwa wachache. Kwa hivyo kuna venye unapaswa pia kuhakikisha shule pia siko na wanafunzi. Ile inakuwa shida ni ile mwanafunzi yako Nairobi na ameitwa day school yenye iko Meru. Hiyo itakuwa ngumu, lakini ikiwa ni boarding school hakuna shida. Remember also we have what we call national cohesion. Hii maana sana.
Kwanza sawa na walivyo askari kwamba wanaweza kufanya kazi katika sehemu yoyote ya taifa, ndivyo ilivyo kwa wanafunzi pia. Wanapaswa kuhiari kufanya kazi popote, kusoma popote wanapojipata. Lakini inaeleweka, na ndio sababu Wizara ya Elimu imetoa fursa kwa wazazi kufika katika shule ya mahususi na kujaribu kutafuta ikiwa nafasi zinaweza kupatikana hapo. Na si kwa sababu tu ya umbali, lakini kuna sababu nyingine. Kwa mfano, mtoto anaweza kuhitajika kuwa karibu na wazazi wake kwa sababu ya matibabu. Kufanya
mfano ambao nilitazama mzazi mmoja akisema jana kwamba watoto ni mapacha. Na mapacha mara nyingi wanataka kwenda katika shule moja.
Hawapaswi kutengana sana. Na mambo kama hayo wajua yakijitokeza au yakitokea, pana haja ya kuelewa. Na ndio sababu kulipatikana fursa ya kuomba mabadiliko mwanzoni, na sasa hivi tena kuanzia leo hadi tarehe 9 wizara ilitangaza kwamba bado kuna fursa. Unaweza kutembea katika shule fulani ukaomba nafasi, kupatikane fursa ya kubadilisha mwanao aingie katika shule ambayo una hiari kumuona. Na nilivyosema dadangu ni kwamba hili si swala la umbali tu. Ni swala la karo na uwezo wa mzazi, ni swala la matibabu. Mtoto anapaswa kuwa katika mazingira ambayo pengine mzazi anafanya uangalizi kwa karibu. Kwa hivyo walimu wakuu, wazazi wakija kwenu na mahitaji ya aina hii, tafadhali wasikizeni, kwa sababu pana haja ya kulisaidia taifa letu kuwa imara kwa kuyatimiza mambo kama haya.
Asante. Na pia ndakubaliana nanyi, nafikiri sasa ndio mwaka umeanza, ipo haja basi ya kuhamasisha wazazi zaidi. Kama mlivyosema kwamba huenda hawakuhusishwa ipasavyo na hawakuelewa sana japo katika kuchagua zile pathways. Labda sasa kuwe na mfumo ambapo wazazi wanaanza pia kuhamasishwa, na pia swala la labda kuchagua taaluma maishani mapema, labda ni swala tutaligusia kama tutapata muda, kama tunaweza kuwa na masuala ya career guidance kwa mapema katika shule zetu, ili watoto wetu waweze kuelewa kwa mapema. Kwa sasa niruhusu nichukue simu chache upande wa pili wa studio za Radio Taifa. Mathias, nisaidie simu chache alafu tusonge mbele. Mathias?
Barabara kabisa mpenzi msikilizaji, zungumza nasi kupitia 0700176699 Radio Taifa, sauti ya Mkenya. Hello Radio Taifa.
Nina swali moja tu.
Naam.
Sasa.
Naam.
Mtoto mwenye amefanya sport. Na ndoto yake ilikuwa ya kuwa daktari.
Safi.
Sasa atawezaje kufanya kozi ya daktari ilhali haye amechagua sport?
Okay.
Na unajua watoto wachanga sasa hivi hawana hekima ya kuwa na maarifa ya kuchagua kozi mapema, lakini nashangaa sasa mtoto mwenye amefanya sport na ndoto yake ni ya kuwa daktari. Sasa yeye atakuwa daktari vipi?
Asante.
Safi. Dora.
Tunaweza kupokea kama simu zingine kama 3 Mathias, alafu tutazijibu kwa pamoja.
Barabara kabisa. Radio Taifa, sauti ya Mkenya. Haya, Radio Taifa, sauti ya Mkenya. Hello.
Hello.
Nakusikia. Jina lako nani?
Mimi naitwa James Viro, niko hapa Galanda.
Safi ndugu.
Ningeomba tu bwana Indindi arejelee yale mazungumzo utangulizi ambapo alisema kwamba ule mfumo uliopisha huu mfumo ambao upo sasa. Aliutaja kwa njia ya ufasaha sana mpaka nikapenda, nimesahau. Sasa ikiwa atarejelea nitafurahia sana.
Safi sana. Ndindi nadhani amepata hilo.
Vile mimi kwa maoni yangu nakubaliana 100% kwa 100. Huu mfumo ambao upo ni bora sana kulingana na vile ulimwengu unavyoenda. Mimi kumbatia, manake watoto wanapaswa kuwekwa sambamba na vile ulimwengu wa sasa ulivyo.
Barabara kabisa. Asante sana. Radio Taifa, sauti ya Mkenya.
Halo Radio Taifa.
Sema nasi.
Jambo, habari ya asubuhi.
Njema, tunashukuru.
Naongea na Milimo Kesi kutoka Budalangi.
Naam.
So, rafiki yangu. Halo.
Endelea.
Mimi nauliza hivi.
Naam.
Huyo mchanganuzi ana uhakika kwamba walimu na sekta nzima imeshikilia hiyo CBE nini curriculum vizuri? Manake curriculum hiyo haijapika hapo. Mimi nasema tu kila mara kwamba haijapika. Ndio maana inasumbua the whole sector, inasumbua wazazi, inasumbua hata walimu. Hawajui na ni kitu kigeni. Ningewaomba tu waende nacho polepole. Elimu yenyewe ni nzuri. The curriculum is very far better. So washikilie tu hapo ili tuende tu polepole tutajifunza. Asante. Milimo Kesi kutoka Budalangi.
Asante. Tupate mmoja kisha tuende kwa. Karibu sana. Uliza.
Swali la kwanza, tuna expectation na very pia wakati wetu tofauti ni nini? Alafu jambo la pili, je, hii mfumo mtoto anachakua venye anataka ama anachakuliwa kwa ajili mchukuu wangu alichakuliwa venye hapo anataka? Shukran.
Asante. Shukran Mathias. Turejee hapa kwa wachanganuzi wangu, tupokee ama tuweze kujibu hayo maswali machache kwa ufupi zaidi. Nafikiri mengi umegusia, labda tu ni kutilia mkazo. Tuanze na swali hili la mwisho. Kwa mfano, mtoto alichaguliwa ama alichagua kwa sababu alichokichagua, ama alipochagua si mahali ambapo alifanya nini? Aliitwa.
Ndio, ni kweli. Na mimi Dora, uzuri ni kwamba mwenyewe pia na binti yangu ambaye imempata kadhia aina hiyo. Shule alizoziteua hakuna hata moja inayojitokeza katika shule aliyoitwa. Lakini ni kwa sababu ya kile ambacho amekizungumzia ndugu yangu kwamba mfumo ulikuwa automated. Walikuwa wanaangalia huyu mtoto anataka STEM. Hizi alama alizopata na katika STEM na hizi shule ambazo zina STEM katika taifa zima, ikiwa anastahili kuwa katika C1 au anastahili kuwa katika C2, akikosa kwenye zile shule alizoteua, tunaweza kumweka kwingine katika zile ambazo zina STEM lakini ni za kiwango sawa na hicho, na ndo sababu binti akajipata hapo. Kwa mfano, kwa hivyo kwa mzazi ambaye mwanawe alijipata katika shule ambayo hakuichagua kama mimi, ni kwa sababu ya alama alivyosema na jinsi walivyoangalia idadi ya wanafunzi waliopatikana katika zile shule alizokuwa ameteua pamoja na alama. Kwa hivyo wakaangalia ni wapi kwingine tunakoweza kumweka katika yale matamanio yake ya kusomea kozi hizi, ndio akajipata katika sehemu hiyo. Alafu kuna huyu mshabiki wenu sana huyu Milimo Kesi wa kutoka Budalangi ambaye ameuliza, je, tuna hakika kwamba watu wamekubali mfumo huu kisawasawa ama ni kusuasua?
Na ametaja sio walimu.
Ndio, walimu. Ndio sababu nimetangulia kwa kusema kwamba kuna unyumbufu, kuna flexibility katika walimu, na hao ndio tunawatarajia. Ndugu walimu, tunakutarajieni ninyi kuwa chemchemi ya mabadiliko haya na waendelezaji wakubwa wa mabadiliko haya, kwa sababu ninyi ni opinion leaders. Ninyi ndio mnauona ulimwengu zaidi ya wazazi wengine wanavyouona katika jamii hii. Kwa hivyo ikiwa ulimwengu unakoelekea unahitaji mambo haya tunayozungumziwa sasa katika mfumo wa umilisi na utendaji, mnaelewa zaidi. Tusiwe kizuizi cha kupatikana kwa mabadiliko au kubalika kwa jamii yetu, na ndio sababu tunaomba tena walimu wapate mafunzo ya mara kwa mara ili wahiari kukubali mfumo huu. Dadangu, si jambo rahisi Ikumbukwe kwamba walimu wenyewe tunawazungumzia walisoma mfumo wa 844. Walipotoka shuleni wamekuja kufundisha mfumo wa 844. Sasa tunawaleta katika mabadiliko. Hakiwi kitu chepesi kukubali kuingia katika mabadiliko kutoka kule ulikosomea ukafundisha, na sasa unapaswa kuingia katika ulimwengu mpya. Lakini tunawaomba kwa sababu wao ndo mboni za jamii, wao ndo macho ya jamii kwa kiwango kikubwa. Wahiari mabadiliko haya kwa wepesi na wataisaidia jamii.
Turudi kwako, kuna mtu alikuwa anasema urejelee utangulizi wako hapo mwanzo, lakini wacha nirudi kwako Bwana Mutisia. Mawili labda uyagusie pale. Mtoto anataka udaktari, kidogo yuko huku kwenye sports. Huo mchanganyiko kidogo labda unafaa kushughulikiwa vipi?
Yeah, ni jambo gumu. Unajua hii ndio mara ya kwanza ya transition. Yes, ya junior schools to senior school. Anajua kuna mambo mengi tutajifunza. Na kwanza hiyo ni muhimu. Kuna mambo mengi hata ule wakati wa 8 ilikuwa CP na then 8 kulikuwa na shida hapa na pale. Junior school to from primary to junior school pia kuna hiyo maneno, lakini sasa ukiangalia sasa tuongelee sasa hakuna mwenye anaongea sasa. Kuna wanafunzi walifanya junior school last year, sasa wanaenda sasa walimaliza primary, sasa wanaenda junior school because vitu zimeendelea. Kwa hivyo ya kwanza ni ile hizi vitu si za kawaida katika system ikiendelea. Lakini hii swali ni swali pia inapendeza na inalingana na ile swali pia ya mwisho, kama mtoto alichagulia ama alichanguliwa. Kuna hiyo sehemu ya shule, lakini kuna hiyo sehemu ya pathway. Sijajua na sina statistics na wanafunzi wangapi walikuwa wamesema mimi nataka kufanya STEM lakini hawajapata STEM. Wenye walikuwa wakisema nataka social studies unless did uko nazo. Wanataka social studies wamechukuliwa kitu kingine. Na hiyo tukishaanza kupata hizo statistics labda tutaanza kurekebisha, lakini itakuwa ngumu pia ikiwa mwanafunzi hajatimia katika ile masomo ya udaktari ya kwenda kufanya ile pathway inalingana na udaktari. Ikiwa hajafikia hizo points itakuwa vigumu sana. Ikiwa amechukua sports na hajalinganisha zile points itakuwa vigumu sana mwanafunzi kutoka sports aende apeleke katika. Lakini ikiwa amepata sote kuna uwezekano, ndio maana wanafanya choices. Kuna first choice, kuna second choice, sasa inaendelea. Ikiwa amefikisha hapo nafasi ipo. Lakini swali la kujiuliza na tena kurudi tena ni ile interest ability sa mwanafunzi. Na ile jambo tunapaswa kujitayarisha tukiendelea na hii mfumo ni tujipate tumerejelea ile aliita knowledge education. Tuanze kuangalia tu nini hali ya masomo tu peke yake. Hiyo itakuwa tumeirudia ile mfumo wa 844. Lakini saa hizi ni ile kujua ikiwa labda judapo ndio tupo na tukufanya vyema kujua abilities na potentials na interests za mwanafunzi. Na katika career guidance if you want to talk kuna ile assessments za kufanya, unapatia mtoto mwanafunzi anafanya hizo assessment, na hizo kuna ile score akipata unaanza kusema huyu anaenda without now even these other masomo zenye ziko hapo. Hii ni ile mfumo na ile path unapaswa kwenda. Kwa hivyo ningesema hivyo labda iko aina points itakuwa vigumu.
Kwa sababu ya muda, najua huu ni mjadala ambao tuweze kukamilisha na tutakuwa tunazungumza mengi hata kuanzia juma lijalo. Wale wanafunzi wa grade 10 watakapokuwa wanaingia katika madarasa yao, tutakuwa na mjadala zaidi kuhusiana na masuala haya, lakini labda unapatia tu sekunde 30 kila mmoja. Train imeshaondoka kwenye unasema stendi, sasa lazima mfumo huu tukumbatie. Mianya gani labda kwa sekunde 30 tunasema kwamba hii ndio mianya ipo, serikali kiangazia basi mambo yako sawa?
Niunganisha hilo katika sekunde zangu 30. Kuna huyo mwenzetu ambaye alikuwa ameuliza, je, unaweza kusomea udaktari ikiwa umeweka kwenye sport? Kuna sport science na wapo madaktari ambao ni madaktari wa sport. Kwa hivyo anaweza kuteua kwenda kwenye sport science, akasoma sports management, akasoma sports treatment, akasoma mambo ambayo yanahusiana na tiba kwenye masuala ya sport. Kwa hivyo inawezekana. Na mianya ambayo ipo katika kutekeleza mfumo huu ni kwamba kwanza hatukuwawezesha wazazi kuelewa kisawasawa huu mfumo unapaswa kuwapeleka wapi watoto wao. Nafikiri hili ni jambo ambalo ni jambo la uhamasishaji ambalo lifanyike sana. Pili ni kwamba tunasuasua sana katika kuandaa walimu ambao wanapaswa kuwa watekelezaji wa mfumo wenyewe. Na hili ni jambo ambalo linapaswa kuchukuliwa kwa dharura, kwamba kila mara tunapotaka kulitekeleza jambo fulani, wale wahusika wakuu, wale ambao tunawatarajia kuwa wadau wakuu wa kutekeleza mfumo fulani au mabadiliko fulani, tuwahamasishe, tuwaingize katika mafunzo, tuwawezeshe na tuwahami kisawasawa kujikubali kwamba wao ndio waendeshaji wa hiyo train.
Asante. Sekunde 30.
Sekunde umeongelea maneno walimu na wasasi, lakini pia ningeongelea sasa pia to ensure we have made investment in our senior schools, ili mwanafunzi hata ukichukua STEM kwenda kufanya katika day school yenye iko sub county hapo hivyo na mwenye yuko national school yenye labda C1 wajisikie sawa, wako na kila kitu, wako na walimu, wako na resources zenye ziko hapo hivyo. Ile ya pili ningerejelea ni junior schools, career guidance. We need to have a structured career guidelines, and we need to have the right skills and teachers, ensuring children by the time wanafika grade 9 chenye wanachagua inaligana.
Mahali pazuri pa kumalizia kwamba kile ambacho wanachagua wakuwa wamekielewa vizuri, career guidance. Kwa sababu ya muda tukomea hapo kwa leo, lakini mjadala huu utakuwa unaendelea. Asante sana Bwana Morris Mutisia kutoka Zizi Africa Foundation, mnashughulika na masuala ya utafiti sana katika mambo ya elimu. Asante kufika.
Karibu sana.
Na asante pia Bwana Henry Ndindi, yeye ni mhadhiri, yeye ni mwandishi wa vitabu na vile vile mtaalamu katika masuala ya elimu. Shukrani.
Nashukuru sana.
Na kwa kwa ambao umetizama na vile vile kufuatilia majadiliano haya kupitia Radio Taifa, tunashukuru pia. Asante sana kwa elekezo wangu, wapiga picha na vile vile maproducer wangu Nancy Kemunto na wenzako wote ambao wamefanikisha makala haya ya leo. Nasema asante sana na kurejesha katika studio zetu mbili, Channel 1 na vile vile Radio Taifa. Tufanye hivi tena Jumanne ijayo.
Dr. Chung got shot. Huh? Never asked anyone to cut corners, and I never will.
Wipe his face! They're here!
Defibrillator, 200. Clear!
Usilie, ewe mwanadamu, usihadaike.
Mtu akitoa chafya akasema alhamdulillah, basi mtume anafundisha, wewe umemsikia, unamwambia ya rahmakallah, na yeye anajibu ya hadiyakallah wa yuslihu balaka. Haya ni mafundisho ya bwana mtume sallallahu alayhi wasallam.
Hapo ndio tunapata funzo kwamba kiongozi hapaswi kupuuza rai za watu wake. Hata kama wewe ni kiongozi, pendelea kusikiza rai za watu.
وتكون جبال كالإحم المنفوش فأما من ثقلت موازينه
سبحان الله سبحان
It's art, it's culture, it's fun, it's attitude.
As you can see with me, I have this handkerchief. And is it really a handkerchief or is it?
My name is Kevin Kasioki. Please join me each and every Friday at 8 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
And you are right in time for our healthcare segment where we get to talk matters our health. And this morning we will be talking about sickle cell disease, and we mainly are going to be having our focus on pain management strategies and the treatment options available for the people living with sickle cell anemia, and then sickle cell disease, and then we will also be looking at how to ensure that we are managing it also in children as well. And I'm pleased to be joined by Peter Ahago, who is the program officer at the Children's Sickle Cell Foundation, and he is also a sickle cell caregiver. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you on board. Let us begin with first, before you get to tell us what the foundation is all about, let us first define sickle cell. What is it?
Yeah, thank you again, Vivian, for having me here. Sickle cell disease is a genetic blood disorder which affects red blood cells. And for a child to be born with sickle cell disease, both parents have to be carriers. They have to be carrying the genes, the mother and the father. Basically, a red blood cell, normally it's supposed to live in the body for 120 days. That's close to about 4 months. But when someone has this gene, a red blood cell lives only up to from 10 to 40 days. Then from being round, because round is the normal, or disc shape is the normal shape, it takes another shape, it mutates from being round to sickle. And that is where the name sickle cell disease comes from. It is actually sickle's crescent shape.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we'll get into more about that. But let's get into the foundation. So it's called the Children's Sickle Cell Foundation. Tell me, you know, the work you do on there as the program officer, and just when it was started, why it was started, and the work that the foundation does.
Yeah, Children Sickle Cell Foundation, in bracket CSCF, was started way back in 2001. And this was after parents, adults living with sickle cell disease, were frustrated. They didn't know what to do. They used to meet at a clinic and they were like complaining. They didn't have more information, no one to help them. And through the advice and guidance of our patron, Dr. Casey Wafula, Children Sickle Cell Foundation was started then. And up to now, we are actually celebrating our 25th anniversary this year. And we have done a lot. We have been doing a lot of training, awareness. We partner also with the county governments and help also on how we can disseminate the information to the lower ground, whereby we help them open up clinics at the lower level, because most of the time we only hear and talk about sickle cell at the referral level 5 and 6 hospital. So we wanted people from the lower level also to be empowered with the information, because that's where health starts from. Health is a devolved function which actually starts from the village. And from level 1, the people who have to be empowered with the information are the CHPs. They're the people who are in the village. They meet people or children who are living with the condition, but when they don't know where to refer them to. So we decided to open up clinics. If you go to Mombasa, we work with Mwembeteare, which is a level 2 hospital. Kisumu, we work with Katito, which is a level 2 hospital. In Migori, there is a Rongo sub-county. So apart from awareness and the training of CHPs, healthcare providers, we also do other things like we do blood drives. Because sickle cell disease, it affects blood. When children go to the hospital, sometimes the blood level is down, they need transfusion. So we decided also to conduct blood drives so that we can have our blood banks with blood, so that whenever the children need blood, actually they can get blood. Not only children who are living with sickle cell or people who are living with sickle cell only, but to the general, because you can't own blood. Once it's in the bank, it's for the general public. People who need blood, they get it. But our focus was for our patients, and it has been rolled out to the general public. So we do blood drive. We also do community events like football matches, just to bring the community together, creating awareness. So those are some of the things we have done. And at Children's Sickle Cell Foundation, we are committed to improving quality of life to those people who are affected and are living with sickle cell disease, from childhood to adulthood. Yes.
So at the foundation, you do not only work with children, or you don't only deal with the children living with sickle cell. It's for everyone who lives with sickle cell.
The word children in the name of the foundation, that's just a name. But we deal with everyone in the sickle cell space. Remember, anyone who is born is a child. And these people grow, they transit to adulthood, they become older, so they are no longer.
Eventually,
yeah,
so
of
they
course,
don't remain as children.
Remain to be children.
I get it.
So it doesn't mean that once you stop being a child, we stop looking after you. You are still within the space.
Okay, I get you on that. Now, you know, as a sickle cell caregiver yourself, because you are also a sickle cell caregiver, if you're open to talk about it, you have children who are living with sickle cell.
Yeah, exactly. I actually have 2 children living with sickle cell disease, and that is the main reason why I found myself into this space. Initially, I have my background in engineering, not in the health space. But when we first got our firstborn, later on diagnosed with sickle cell disease, that changed my focus. And that is how I found myself now into the organization and talking about sickle cell disease today. My firstborn is 15 years old, with a girl, and the secondborn is turning 14. And the last one, who is a male one, doesn't have sickle cell, is not even a carrier. So I'm also in that space of giving care to my own children, not just other children, but my own children.
Yeah, so you experience it firsthand as well.
Yes.
You know, just when exactly were your children diagnosed with sickle cell? Is this something that is picked immediately from birth, or does it take a while?
It depends. Like in my case, it took us 5 years. But this doesn't mean my firstborn child was not suffering. She suffered a lot, but we didn't know what was actually happening. Like any other parent, you will try everything out to see whether the child will be fine. And you try medication, you try any form of management. And remember, you are not managing sickle cell, you are managing just pain, you are managing fever, you are managing, you try anything and everything out. Until such a time at age 5, when we now got to realize through diagnosis that she had sickle cell disease. And that is where the focus was now turned into management of sickle cell disease. But generally, a child is born with sickle cell disease, any child who is a sickler, sometimes when they are young, it's not possible to be able to tell whether they have sickle cell disease because they are, there is what we call fetal hemoglobin. So that's what protects them at that age. When they reach, most of them reach at age 5 to 6 months, that is when you start to see some of the signs and symptoms of sickle cell disease. So majority of them are diagnosed at age 5 and are confirmed to be living with the sickle cell disease, and that is when the management starts. But that doesn't mean it started at 5 months. They were born with it. It's only that it was not showing. Yes.
So we'll get into the signs and symptoms of it. But you know, for people living with sickle cell disease, pain crises are the main thing most of the time, and this is the most challenging bit for most of the people living with sickle cell. So
exactly.
You mentioned that your child got diagnosed at age 5, but you believe they were suffering before then, because you know, was it because of the pain crisis? She used to get the pain crisis, but you couldn't tell, because now for a child, they can't tell you this is what is happening.
Yes.
They are small. So you have to figure out, why is she crying all the time? Why is he crying all the time? So is there a particular age when someone living with sickle cell or someone born with sickle cell disease experiences the pains?
Yes. Children, they communicate. And because they cannot talk to each other or to talk to parents the way we are talking, they will cry when something is wrong. Now, during this time that a child is experiencing pain, and especially most of them starts from age 5 months to 6 months. That is when now the fetal hemoglobin goes down and the S gene comes up, and that is the point where the red blood cells now, instead of maintaining its normal shape, round shape, now they begin to sickles. When they sickles, number one, they compromise the amount of oxygen that is carried by them, because the work of a red blood cells is to transport the oxygen throughout the body. The parts of the body that needs oxygen will get that by the red blood cells. Is the one that is going to transport oxygen and also nutrients to those parts. So when it's now takes shape, the sickle shape, number one, it cannot carry the oxygen. Number two, the lifespan is too short. Number three, the movement is compromised. They are sticky and rigid. They cannot flow freely in the blood vessels. They stuck and cause blockages. Once the blockage is caused now, at that point, the pain will begin to occur. When it's on the hand, the child will tell you, and a young child will not tell you, my hand is paining, my leg is paining, my stomach, because blockage can happen anywhere in the body. Sometimes it's just their back, sometimes it's just the stomach or their leg. Imagine a young child who cannot talk, won't tell you my leg, but you'll just realize he's crying. Sometimes when you touch their leg or that part which is paining, they cry a lot. So that is the point when we talk about painful crisis. Yes.
Okay. How does sickle cell differ, you know, between adults and children? When people living with sickle cell now, they grow to adulthood, the management is now, I can say, easier now, because big people can tell when crisis, because they feel their body, they can foretell when the crisis is about to come. They can manage themselves. There are things they cannot do. There are places they cannot go. They know how to manage themselves. But a young child does not know, will play like any other child when they are able to play. They will do things like any other child can do, and those are some of the things that would
trigger crisis. But an adult person knows that I'm not supposed to, the weather is cold, I'm not supposed to put on like this, I need to keep warm. A young child, unless you tell him or her, go wear your sweater, drink warm water, don't play outside, it's cold, don't do this. But an adult person will definitely just understand her body or his body, and just to avoid some of the things that could trigger crisis. These are the difference between a young person, a child, and of course an adult person. Yes.
Sickle cell.
Yeah.
Let's get to the signs. You know, what are some of the symptoms and the signs that you can easily point out, and maybe you can be in a position to assume that maybe my child has sickle cell, so go get them diagnosed or go get them checked at the hospital? What are some things that maybe a parent can be looking out for?
Yeah, some of the early signs and symptoms of sickle cell disease, like I said, from age 6, most of them begin to experience these complications. Now, there is what we call dactylitis, swelling of hands and feet. You find that the fingers are swollen, and it's so painful that that child cannot even greet you. When you try to touch it, it's so painful. Sometimes, again, that is number one. Number two, there is what we call jaundice. You find that the yellow wing of the eyes are just yellow, and note that when a child is jaundice, it's definitely sickle cell. There are so many problems in the body that can cause the eyes to become yellow. And in the body, sometimes there are paleness. Yeah. So when you find that a child has jaundice, body is pale, a child has frequent fever, a child, always there is infections, there is lack of appetite, a child cannot feed well. There are things like I said, fever and lack of appetite. So these are some of the symptoms, that you could see in a child and suspect a child has sickle cell. Only if you know and you've learned about sickle cell. Because most parents see these things, but they don't take them seriously. Like, for example, when a child is having dactylitis, the hands are swollen. They don't suspect sickle cell, and they begin now to massage them. Some even use hot water just to try to press it and see whether it's going to get normal. Some try to use things like rope just to massage hardly, which is not supposed to be, because that child is experiencing a lot of pain. So when when you notice these signs, it's advisable that you take action very fast and see the doctor, because it's only the doctor through testing, because you cannot also tell by just looking at the child and say that they have sickle cell. It has to be tested. Exactly. It has to be. There is a test that the doctor has to run on this child just to confirm. It's a confirmatory test that the child has sickle cell. Otherwise, just by looking at the child that he has jaundice, there could be some other things in the body that could also cause the jaundice. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Now, there's a lot of myths surrounding, sickle cell disease. Some which are quite unfortunate, because they even speak around, the lifespan of someone that is living with sickle cell disease. Maybe if you can just demystify some of this.
A lot of myths and misconceptions have been going around, and it's because before people did not have adequate information about sickle cell disease, and it was believed that people or a child with sickle cell disease cannot live beyond. Some will tell you 5 years, some will tell you 10 years, and some will tell you if they go past 18 years, then they are off the hook. They don't have sickle cell again, which is not the case.
Yeah.
And the reason why I think they say so, there before, when there were no treatment, there were no, a lot of research had not been done. We didn't even have people who were qualified to manage sickle cell disease. People were just living just by the grace of God.
Yeah.
And imagine someone with a HB of 6 or 7, which is far much below a normal human being should live with, does not have any follow-up, does not know any doctor, does not use any drug. This person is just living by the grace of God. Anything can trigger and this person can die. But now a lot of research has been done. We have medicines for management. A lot of awareness has been done. So these people can live like any other person until such a time God will call them like any other person, because all of us will die. So with proper management, people can live to the older age. And that is why we are in this space doing this work, to ensure that they get the quality. We are dedicated to ensuring that people living with sickle cell disease, they live to the old age by giving quality of life through awareness and the trainings, the things that we do. So by providing proper management, people can live to the old age. In our clinics, we have people in their 40s, 50s. There is a lady in our clinic who is turning now 58. And I know also of a retired teacher who is, actually he's supposed to be 67 now and is there. So these are old people.
Yeah.
These are people with their grandchildren.
So it's proof that
Yes,
people with
yes.
sickle cell actually...
Yeah. And we are not talking about people in other countries. There are people I can call here and you greet them, you talk with them, and they give you their stories, not just myths. So we demystify those myths. I know a lot is being said there, including the sickle cell itself. There are people who said, this is a curse. And like I remember in my story, at some point I was told it's the devil who was actually drinking the blood of my children, because most of the time they're anemic, they have little blood, and when they have low blood level, there is a lot of things that are happening. Infection is always there. Painful crisis, they can't eat because lack of appetite. You know, when you have infection, you don't have appetite. You can't feed well. So every time when they were having low blood level, you are told maybe it's Satan who is drinking the blood of your child. You know, things like that. Maybe something happened in your family. Maybe, you know, a lot, so many bad things which are not even in a human. Yes.
So clearly more awareness needs to be done on sickle cell disease.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But I thank God we are not where we were like 2-3 years ago. Currently, and we have not done to 100%. We are still doing it, creating awareness, because right now we can come to studio like now and talk about sickle cell. There before, there was nothing like this. And I believe so many people are getting this information, and it's something that we have done before. And there is a lot of feedback. People are calling, get to know their status, where can they get help. And even the government is trying. The government now acknowledges sickle cell, and the government has come up with a guideline on management of sickle cell. Actually, when you go to the public hospitals, doctors are empowered with the equipment of management of sickle cell. We even participated as Children's Sickle Cell Foundation to produce a simplified guideline for caregivers and people who are living with sickle cell. We translated the one that was released by the government into a simplified language that a caregiver, any other person, would read and understand what sickle cell disease is all about. So it's everywhere, the information is out there, but we are still pushing and following up to ensure that people have the knowledge on sickle cell disease. That's why we do football awareness during awareness month in September. September is usually sickle cell awareness month. We do football, blood drive, so many activities just to create awareness with the general public. And also during World Sickle Cell Day, the government conducts events. Like last year, we were in Kilifi. The Ministry of Health embraces and acknowledges the world event, and sickle cell disease is celebrated. So we are somewhere. Yes, we are somewhere.
A lot of work has been put in to ensure that the awareness is out there. As you also still continue to, create more awareness around it.
Yes.
Okay, so is sickle cell disease curable, or is it a chronic illness? I feel like it's really important for us to clarify that, because of what is happening right now. Some people, you go to some religious people and they tell you, do not take these drugs anymore. You are fully healed, and it has brought some controversy. So for someone who may be watching, is it something that can be cured, or you need to keep on, taking your medication?
Yes, let me start with a chronic. It is a chronic illness, yes. It is genetically acquired, yes. And currently, it is curable. There is cure for sickle cell. And the only proof for sickle cell, the only cure that has been proven is through bone marrow transplant. And it's not something that you can get locally. It's not something that is so cheap to get. So many people, I've seen a number of people who have gone through a bone marrow. They do it outside the country. And again, there are those who have gone for it and did not make it back. So again, it's a 50-50 thing. There are those who are making it and they are doing well. They have been cured. But there are those who went for it but did not make it work. So the only thing I can say now, management is key. And before even thinking of cure through the bone marrow transplant, sit down with your doctor. Listen to what your doctor tells you, because I know the doctor will run quite a number of tests for you to, because not everybody is qualified for the procedure. It's a very delicate procedure and very expensive. So you sit down, discuss with your doctor, then you will be advised accordingly. About the religious leaders, this is what I will have to say. I know there is a lot of debate out there about the miracle and the cure. Number one, a miracle is done by God, the hand of God alone. And you cannot twist God to do a miracle when he's not ready to perform a miracle. Miracle can happen. We are believers. We are people who believe that miracles are there. But until such a time that a miracle happens, this person remains being the hands of the doctor. And even when you go, because we are not telling people not to go to church to be prayed for. Personally, I'm a prayerful person. I go to church. But even when a miracle happens, still go back to the doctor. Tell the doctor a miracle has happened. The doctor will run a test just to confirm, not doubting God.
Yeah.
Let the doctor run a test just to confirm indeed God's hand has worked, a miracle has happened, and this person is off. But if it's not that route, don't be lied to.
Okay.
And I would also advise people out there, discuss with your man of God. Even doctors, God has put them there to help us. They are working for God. They are taking care of our lives. Let this doctor, the man of God who tells you not to go to the hospital is lying to you. And the man of God who tells you go to the hospital, confirm. Let the doctor runs a test on you, is telling you the truth.
Yeah.
But when the doctor tells you you have sickle cell, please believe, because it's not him. The science in your system proves that you still have the disease. Yes.
Got it. All right, now we need to be finalizing on our conversation, and I want us to finish off with the pain management strategies.
Okay.
I want us to first look at just the non-drug methods of, managing or reducing pain.
I know there is a lot that people do at home. We call them home remedies. Because sometimes it strikes at the middle of the night. You don't have anyone to take you to the hospital. Maybe the hospital is far, and especially those who are living in the remote areas, the up countries. So sometimes how you manage, you can start with, let's say it's a child is experiencing pain. You can try to administer warm water bottle. It's a therapy. You just used hot water bottle actually. You put it where it's paining, or if you don't have a hot water bottle, you can use just like a towel, put in warm water, just put it there. Because remember, there is a blockage. When you do like that, or you do gentle rubbing, when you do that, the vessels now expand, that heat, the warmth, and now maybe the blood will now start passing where there is a blockage. Administer things like let the person drink a lot of water, and as you wait to take them to the hospital when pain is persisting. And again, I know most of them, they have things like painkillers at home. These low-level painkillers, paracetamol and brufen at home. You administer at home as you wait to rush the child to the hospital. Because a lot of them sometimes at night when it occurs. So you try this out as you wait to take them for treatment. This is as you manage the pain. I know sometimes it can be serious, and especially those who are still young. And again, there is something I didn't want to forget. It happened to us, and I know it's happening to most parents out there, especially from my backyard. When a child is crying, cannot sleep at night, they believe a young child. They will tell you this a child is crying because he's looking for a name. Maybe you call this child the name of someone who died long time ago, then they will stop crying. No, this child is experiencing pain, it's sickle cell. So just try to manage. But what I can advise, always, there are things you cannot do at home. Rush the child to the hospital, because there they will be tested to get to know exactly what is happening in the body. And for another thing that I think has helped so many people in line of management, we have things like adherence to the drugs. Those who are already on medication, we are there to the prescribed medication.
And the medication differs from one person to the other, right?
Yes. Because before you are introduced to certain drugs, the doctor will actually run certain tests on you. And there are drugs that will work on some people, but one person or maybe few people, it doesn't work. When you use it, you get more problem. Like, for example, I know people who are, hydroxyurea is a wonder drug. So many people, and it's helping a lot, hydroxyurea. And I know of few people, when they use hydroxyurea, they get problems. Okay. So the doctor will also advise you accordingly. Okay. So that is what we advise. Don't, again, the herbal medication. I know there are people out there, they use herbal medication too much. I will not comment much on it because I know they will tell you how it's working for them. But again, come discuss with the doctor. Let the doctor know that you use. He will be able to advise you, because when you use the conventional medicine and herbal medicine, you mix them, maybe a lot of things might happen in this body of this patient. So always you consult with your doctor for advice.
All right. Thank you so very much, Mr. Peter, for joining us and for shedding light on matters sickle cell. So now I'll just allow you to give us your final remarks in less than a minute.
Yeah, as I've said, sickle cell disease is a genetic blood disorder. Let us get to know our status. Don't say you don't come from Nyanza, therefore you are off it. Nowadays, sickle cell is across, it's everywhere. Just get to know your status, and most of those who are looking forward to get into marriages, please check on your genotype. Get to know your sickle cell status for you to make an informed decision.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This conversation wraps up Good Morning Kenya for today. Thank you so very much to each and every one of you who has been tuned in from the moment we began until this point of the show. My name is Vivian Dagwa. We do this each and every weekday right here on KBC Channel 1. So see you tomorrow, same time, and please, God willing. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Looking to advertise on KBC? KBC announcement services are now available on eCitizen. Visit kbc.ecitizen.go.ke and fill out the online application form. It's simple. 1. Complete the form. 2. Upload required documents. 3. Receive a quotation based on word count. And 4. Get notified via SMS when your announcement is ready. Please note, clearly indicate the type of announcement, service station, and all relevant details. 2. All applications must be made online only. Manual submissions will not be accepted. And 3. Announcements will air after news bulletins. For assistance, reach us on email ecitizen@kbc.co.ke or use our social media handles, Facebook, your Facebook account, and X at your X account. Or you can call us on 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124. KBC announcements. Simple, fast, and digital.
Na ni nini mnapima pima hapa? Gazebo itakuwa pale, si ndio?
Tokeni hapa.
Tangu asubuhi mfanya kazi gani? Tuko comedy, si ndio?
Mbona unanifuata? Nani alikwambia niko na haraka ya kutoka kwa hii dunia? Nimejaribu kukusaidia, lakini bado unajifanya kichwa ngumu. You will regret it. Hautanipenda?
And the next time unajaribu kuniletea hiyo upuzi ama utry kuniharas, nitakusema kwa chini.
Yeah, I don't care.
Manzi maskini ni ukao utumwa. Wale bro, ningekaa another minute bila ukula, ninge collapse walai. Hiyo ofa ya baba jina ni tempting sana.
Mtu anaweza jipata tu amekubali.
Mimi ni kama babako.
Si wote tunajua unipendi.
Kumbuka ni 50k eh?
Wananiita gundu wakita wengi.
Be honest. How much time do you spend on your smartphone a day? I'm on mine way too much, and I'm not the only one. Some people find this increase in screen time worrying, especially when it comes to kids. According to a study by the OECD, nearly every 15-year-old owns a smartphone in the 38 member countries of the organization. Distractions, stress, and addiction are on the rise. So how should we deal with this and find a healthy balance with our smartphone use? I'm guessing your phone isn't far away from you right now. Usually, we're on them a lot. That also means we are constantly